bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses.
That is correct.
And Donald on television this morning said, gosh, he thought that men should be able to go into the girls' bathroom if they want to. Now, let me ask you, have we gone stark raving nuts?
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, Amy, we were going to party like it's 1999 this morning.
For 4 hours? I hope so.
To celebrate the life and times and contributions to music of one man whose name has not be spoken because it's a symbol.
Well, then he changed back.
Yes.
His real name is Prince Rogers Nelson, and all you fellow Prince fans out there should know that. And he was really unique. I mean, he was our Elvis. He was my first celebrity crush, Dan. I know. I wanted to let you down easy.
I thought it was Edward James Olmos.
Well, I made out with him, but I didn't make out with Prince, but he's the one that I really loved. I saw him on Solid Gold. Remember that show? Solid Gold.
I do now.
Remember that show?
Yeah.
No, do you remember it?
I
It was
know.
on WGN.
Yeah. Marilyn McCoo, Andy Gibb.
And they always had that really gorgeous dancers, and they did their little, dances in between acts. And that's the first time I saw Prince, and he was so powerful, but so sexy, and he was oozing just stardom, and I just loved him. And then I followed him on tour, not followed him on tour, but in the 80s, I went to Miami to go to the Orange Bowl, which they turned into the Purple Bowl. And he had the set where he was in a purple bathtub and smoke came around the bathtub, and then he dropped from the second floor to the first floor. And Sheila E. was there on drums, and it was great.
And that's why you're wearing purple this morning.
Yeah, I didn't take it off. I wore this yesterday, not knowing that he was going to die. And I've been wearing it ever since. It's my purple.
I'm glad you didn't know he was going to die. You would probably need an alibi.
Apparently, the person who found him in the elevator called 911 and didn't know the address. That was a little bit of a problem. And she just said the 911 operator.
Paisley Park.
Paisley Park, and she said, well, what's the address? What street? And she said, I don't know. It's Prince's place. Ask somebody. So when they arrived, he was already unconscious. But what do you think he died from? Because there's rumors going on around that he had some underlying medical condition rather than just the flu.
Yeah, so Aretha Franklin, noted medical expert, suggested that it's possibly died from the Zika virus.
Are you serious?
I don't. I'm serious that Aretha Franklin suggested it. Do I seriously believe that is possible? Well, anything's possible, but no. I mean, I'm just highlighting Aretha Franklin's reckless suggestions because that's, of course, what happens in the wake of the death of an iconic figure like Prince. Interestingly, and this was not reported anywhere in the pieces that I read, Prince had epilepsy.
Oh.
My friend Scott Stantis, who's the political cartoonist over the Tribune, he mentioned that. We had a dinner last night, and he was mentioning that, and he's very close to that issue because he had a brother who died from an epileptic seizure, so he does work for persons with epilepsy, and he mentioned that, and certainly, you can have an epileptic seizure that is so severe that you can die from it. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying it was a condition Prince apparently had that was not well known because I didn't see it reported anywhere.
Well, on Friday, he did a concert in Atlanta, and while he was flying home, they stopped in Moline, Illinois, because he had flu-like symptoms and had to go to the hospital there. So he spent the night there. Saturday, he went back to his house and had a party for 42 people and told them, don't start praying for me yet, that I'm going to be okay. Yeah. And then a few days later, this happens. But I just loved him. I mean, if you didn't know, he was a self-taught musician. And in his first 5 albums, he played every single instrument. So he'd move to the drums, he'd move to the guitar. He made his whole albums. And, I mean, he's just brilliant. Mm-hmm. He could combine rock and soul and funk. And, again, he just oozed showmanship.
What's going to happen to the revolution? Particularly that guy that used to wear the surgeon outfit. I'm worried about him.
What about Nikki? I knew her name was Nikki.
Yeah.
You know that song?
What about Apollonia? What happens to Apollonia? Who gets Apollonia?
Well, what about Sheila E.?
Well, Sheila E.
She made a career on her.
Yeah, I saw Sheila E. at House of Blues last year.
That's right.
She's great. I love Sheila E.
How does she look?
She's living the glamorous life.
Oh, see, there you go.
She doesn't need
a man's touch.
That's right.
Last night on CNN, wall-to-wall coverage, by the way. Do you know, are you familiar with Van Jones? He was on with Don Lemon, and Don Lemon had a very serious tone.
Van Jones is Obama's suck toy.
Yeah.
He was the green czar that wasn't.
Right.
He is a moron. That is one of the
Mo
usual
Ron,
panelists on CNN.
When he was kicked out of, or was asked to leave the White House, Prince invited him over to his house in Minnesota, and Prince was trying to mentor him and coach him about what he can do next in life.
As a friend and a loved one, what are you guys dealing with today?
Just guilt. Feeling like, what could we have done? What happened? And just feeling like now people will start talking and you'll start hearing. You know, he was such a private person. The people in the inner circle, nobody got on TV and said anything. In fact, if you got on TV bragging about Prince, you ain't gonna know Prince tomorrow because he doesn't like that. So now you're gonna hear all these people coming out. Oh, he mentored me. He helped me. Like I said, he was there for us.
Who's us?
People that needed help. People who were down on their luck. People who were
Van
let
Jones
go of
definitely
jobs.
needed help.
Yeah, I saw that last night, and I thought of you. I had to bring that to you today. But there was grown women, grown men, kind of like Van Jones, that were just bawling outside of his Minnesota home last night.
Did Van Jones become a Jehovah's Witness like Prince? Was that part of the mentorship?
No. He did talk about that, though, that he was a Jehovah's Witness. But what did you see Purple Rain?
Did I see the movie Purple Rain? I did see the movie Purple Rain.
Okay,
Yeah.
but how many times?
I saw it 5,000 times because Prince changed my life.
No, how many times? Because I used to sit in the theater, and my mom, if she couldn't find me, would go to the Randhurst Mall in the theater there, because I would just sit there, because you didn't have to pay. If you paid once to get in, you could just stay there. And I watched it 3 times one day, and then I watched it 2 times, and I went back for 3 times. I was addicted to that movie.
It was a 2.5-star movie.
Well, but it was good. He won an Academy Award, and he's won 6 Grammys from Purple Rain. It was good.
Yeah, I know he was a good musician.
Yeah, but he was a good actor. He won an Oscar and a Golden Globe.
Well, sure. I mean, the When Doves Cry video, I mean, nobody, maybe short of you, likes to see a little man like Prince crawling around out of a bathtub naked among rose petals like I do.
No, he could wear women's underwear and a garter belt and just pull it off. I mean, really.
Yeah.
But in 2007, when he played the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
He's the one that had the costume malfunction where his breast showed?
No, that was a different year.
Oh.
This was a real show. And it started raining out, and he put on a little, cap over his head. But
a little raspberry beret?
Yeah, exactly. But you know how they do a press conference the Tuesday before the Super Bowl? Whoever's playing has to meet with the media. And they told us, they said, listen, he's not going to answer any questions. And I said, all right, well, I'm still going to try. And, of course, I got there 2 hours early. I was in the front row of his press conference. We're in a small room, not much bigger than this. And I was wearing purple because I'm a freak. And he stands up and he gets up and he goes, does anybody have any questions? And I jumped up and I said, I do. And he goes, here you go, sister. Boom. And he started playing. So he wouldn't answer any of the questions and he wouldn't let me ask a question, but it was cute. And he winked at me and I got to touch his hand.
And you've never washed that hand again.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
This morning, areas of fog, otherwise breezy, cooler, with some clouds breaking for some sun, a high of 53 degrees. Saturday for your Wrigley run, it'll be mostly sunny and warmer, a high of 63 degrees. And on Sunday for the Ravenswood run, it'll be mostly cloudy and warmer. Wow, get this, a high near 80 degrees. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. And before we get to Chicago and Chanhassen, Minnesota, police are directing traffic around Paisley Park, Prince's estate. A lot of people have been paying visits there. Here, International Parkway has partly reopened in Woodridge. There was a 411 alarm fire at a furniture warehouse. International Parkway is still closed eastbound, but the westbound lanes have opened between Joliet Road and near 355. Inbound Kennedy, the express lanes are now open. Traffic flows without delay on the Kennedy, as well as on the Edens, the Eisenhower, the Stevenson, and even the Ryan. I-57, Bishop Ford still good. Northbound I-65, north of 8094, there's a crash in the right lane. And the Indiana Toll Road has the usual construction delays in Porter and LaPorte counties. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Did you know that prostate cancer is the second largest cancer killer of men? Approximately 30,000 men will die this year from prostate cancer. That's 82 men every day. I'm Dr. Richard Harris from UroPartners. If you need urological care, our integrated practice of more than 60 experienced urological specialists, pathologists, and radiation oncologists are here to help. UroPartners provides state-of-the-art urological care at multiple locations throughout the Chicagoland area. We pride ourselves on communicating with and educating our patients about their urological conditions and treatment options. UroPartners offers state-of-the-art care in robotic surgery, radiation therapy, impotency, infertility, kidney stone disease, incontinence, and vasectomy services. Come to the experts. Visit Europartners.com for a Europartners physician near you. That's Europartners.com. Or call 630-UROLOGY to set up an appointment today.
If you aren't one of my listeners who has already purchased a MyPillow and getting a better night's sleep, I need you to get on board. Mother's Day and Father's Day are almost here, and the 2-for-1 offer is still available with the promo code Joe. I won't list all the benefits. You've heard me do it so many times. Suffice it to say, the benefits are many, especially how much better you'll sleep and feel. I know I do. That's why I'm not surprised MyPillow was voted the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. It's the perfect gift for mom, dad, or you, and it's always good to know you're getting the best deal with the 2-for-1 offer. Hey, visit MyPillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201. Use the promo code Joe for the 2-for-1 offer. Do it now, 800-489-0201, or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Joe, 800-489-0201. Do it now.
Hey, this is David Hall from Draft Tech. I've got a message for all you project engineers and project managers out there. Have you ever trudged through your engineering department and wondered if you were getting the best bang for your buck? A dirty little trade secret is that contract engineers are only doing engineering work about 20% of the time. The other 80% of the time, they're doing work for which they're not particularly well suited nor well trained. At the end of the day, you're paying engineering rates for jobs that don't require engineers, and those tasks aren't even necessarily being done well. If you really want to add value to your project and hold the bottom line, focus on getting the right people with the right experience in the right positions. That's where we come in. Draft Tech. DraftingResults.com. We've got drafters, designers, and line walkers, piping, electrical, and mechanical. We've got the 3D plant software, AutoCAD, MicroStation, and SolidWorks. Let Draft Tech put the value back in your project. That's Draft Tech. Check us out at DraftingResults.com. Cutting edge technology, old school service.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I actually had to pull the car over yesterday when I heard that he died and had to cry it out.
Oh, God.
Kind of like this lady who ran to his house outside of Minneapolis, in suburban Minneapolis, and, well, listen.
I just can't believe it's true. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe he's gone.
It's such an indication of our celebrity culture, isn't it? I mean, I respect and appreciate people who are unbelievably talented in all kinds of facets of life. But when, like, a Kurt Cobain commits suicide or a Prince die, I mean, he's only 57, so he's still a young man. When he dies, and people that have no real connection to his life other than his work, when they just kind of lose it.
But this lady was a grandma. She was a grandma.
It's just strange to me. I mean, when Johnny Cash died, I was upset. I'm a huge Johnny Cash fan. I didn't do a candlelight vigil. I didn't rush to Tennessee to camp outside his home in Henderson. I mean, it's just a bit much, isn't it?
What's uncomfortable for me, President Obama weighing in, releasing a statement. You know, he's in London now this morning with the Queen, saying the world lost a creative icon.
No, don't let him talk about it. Don't. I don't care what your opinion is on Prince, politicians.
But it gets worse. Here's Hillary commenting on Prince.
Oh, make it stop.
Gird your loins.
I was so stunned. You think of him as being almost eternal. I mean, he was a bigger-than-life personality. He was not only a songwriter and a singer, but literally a one-man band. He was such a great showman. I just was so sad, and I just want everybody to, spend some time reflecting on this American original.
Can you reflect about this American original?
Why do we have to hear from politicians on everything?
Well, I don't think Donald Trump or Ted Cruz are going to comment on the passing of Prince.
Hillary Clinton, what was your favorite Prince album?
Oh, I know what mine was.
No, I'm Hillary. The point is,
she'll
people
probably say Purple Rain because it's low-hanging fruit.
A line of Purple Rain.
Oh, yeah, in 1999.
Oh, God.
312-642-5600 is our number. I know, because Prince, if people, what they're saying about him is true, he wouldn't want Hillary Clinton or President Obama commenting on his death.
Oh, that's just so tiresome. By the way, in other news, Jake Arrieta threw a no-hitter, and the Blackhawks survived a double overtime.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the sports update.
You're welcome. Ed in Oak Brook.
Yeah, you know what? Prince died, and he was great, and I appreciate Amy loving him and everything. But what I don't understand is why, when a celebrity like that dies, who never bothered anyone, that was really a good person, why do they always have to jump on that he died of an overdose and bring him down like he's some kind of thug in the street just taking drugs with a needle or stuff like that? Why do they have to destroy the guy before he's even in the ground?
Well, they're performing an autopsy today, so hopefully we'll know the exact cause of death, or be pointed in the right direction as to how he died.
Was there not a history of drug use?
I don't know, and I don't want to know, frankly. I mean, the best thing I'll never forget when Prince was interviewed by Oprah back in 2001, I believe it was. He said the best thing. She said, "You have all this money and fame. Why don't you live in Los Angeles?" And he said, "I live in Minnesota because cold weather keeps the evil people away." And that, for some reason, that comment has stuck with me.
Has he seen who's been running Minnesota for the last half century, for the most part? Have you met Al Franken?
Well, we don't know if he voted for him, but he did mention Black Lives Matter during his 2015 Grammy appearance.
Yeah, I don't look to Prince for deep thinking, and I've read a number of his interviews, deep thinking on matters of public policy or religion, because there wasn't a lot of deep thinking going on based on what he said.
Yeah.
That's fine. You don't have to weigh in on everything. Mm-hmm. Politicians mainly, and celebrities that go the other way. You're very good at making music. You have not a clue about what you speak in so many other realms. Because you're good at one thing doesn't mean you have something to contribute on everything.
Oh, my God.
Is that a Ford concept?
Can we please go
Let's
to Chip?
Let's go to Chip in St. Charles.
Yeah, I remember watching Purple Rain and seeing Prince on a motorcycle with his girlfriend and thinking, and you just didn't see a lot of black guys on motorcycles back then. And I think he made it all, he was like a pioneer in black guys riding motorcycles. Now you see all kinds of black guys riding motorcycles.
Oh, and it's all because of Prince.
Thanks
he always got the hot chicks, though. Have you noticed that? Prince always got the good-looking girls.
Yeah.
He was married twice, and he lost two of his children, one with a miscarriage, and the second one died a few weeks after he was born. And he never tried to have kids after that.
I never thought that Prince's legacy would be that he made it okay for black guys to ride motorcycles. That one evaded me. That's interesting. Ron on the South Side.
Hey, look, you know what, Dan? I disagree with you. I had to turn off everything yesterday, radio, television. I don't want to call these people idiots, but come on, you didn't know the person. But last, before I go, I'll just play the clipping of Hillary. She's still garbage. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for the call, Ron. Thanks for checking in with us on Hillary. Appreciate that. Dan in Libertyville.
Dan, you just don't get it. I was paralyzed when Doris Roberts died. She was way too young. I mean, I
is that the mother from Everybody Loves Raymond? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's three now.
I haven't my hand yet because I've been wiping away the tears.
Thanks, Dan.
So that's the third. We had Doris, then we had Chyna, the WWE wrestler. Well, she was unique in her own way. Stop it.
The three, if we're going to do the three.
We're doing the three.
The Deadpool 3. Let's put people in their proper categories. This year.
They're all entertainers, yeah.
David Bowie.
Okay.
Merle Haggard. Now Prince. That's the threesome, not Chyna.
What about Chyna?
But I agree with Dan in Libertyville.
Yeah.
When I heard the news that Doris Roberts died at the tender age of 103 or whatever it was, 90-something. I just cried and cried and cried. I couldn't make it stop.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
America has a serious narcotics problem. 90% of the world's narcotics are taken by Americans. They have a place, but when you're dealing with chronic pain, pain that doesn't go away or which frequently returns, there is a better way. You're masking the pain. We help you find and deal with the source of the chronic pain to get real relief. This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in pain. Our team are national leaders and we're educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. Contact us, we will help you. You don't have to live with chronic pain. We treat all pain. We don't mask it with painkillers and narcotics that are not good for you and which can be addictive. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what Amy did. Oh, you need to do what I did, and that's called David Hochberg.
You're Amy.
Yeah. Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. Billy's heard hundreds of David's ads, but wanted to contact a realtor before getting pre-qualified to purchase a home in beautiful Arlington Heights. Bad move. Not getting pre-qualified by David before talking to a realtor is like getting financial advice from Bernie Madoff. Bad move. David answered Billy's questions, pre-qualified him to purchase a home, and introduced him to Donna Sattler, his Home Sweet Home Chicago radio show realtor who services Arlington Heights. Now, purchasing a home can be overwhelming, but it won't be if you call David first. David can pre-qualify you for free and introduce you to his team of preferred realtors who will help you locate that perfect home. Now, if you're purchasing a home first and only, your call to David should be the first thing you do. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David helped me and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 484358 NMLS 19186. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Donald Trump wants to change the signs on bathrooms and the abortion language in the RNC platform. We'll have that at 5:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. At least 15 have been killed as a mudslide sweeps through India's remote northeast, bordering China. Hundreds more may be missing. It was at a construction site and a labor camp. Pop icon Prince is dead at age 57. Dana Frank, owner of the First Avenue Bar, where Prince launched his career, says it's a major loss for the industry.
I feel like we lost a patron saint and a good friend and just a beloved member of our family. You know, we just all are trying to absorb the shock and trying to wake up in the new world.
Prince's body was found yesterday at his Paisley Park estate in suburban Minneapolis. He earned 7 Grammys and an Academy Award. Donald Trump says his rivals for the GOP presidential nomination should get out of the race. Speaking in Pennsylvania, Trump says he's millions of votes ahead of both Ted Cruz and John Kasich. Part of the southern Philippines this morning where suspected Islamic extremists operate has been red flagged by the United States and Britain. A warning's gone out to citizens to stay away from that region. There's been a wave of kidnappings. State police in Virginia say remains found Thursday in the Shenandoah National Park are likely those of a paramedic firefighter who disappeared a week ago. They've preliminarily identified the body as Nicole Mittendorf. A 16-year-old Delaware girl is dead after a brawl in a high school bathroom. Fight broke out yesterday between two at Wilmington's Howard High and apparently escalated from there. Authorities are trying to figure out this morning what caused a massive blaze at a furniture warehouse in Woodridge. The blaze began yesterday at the Room Place on International Parkway. Dozens of employees were able to escape the large facility unharmed. 100 firefighters battled the flames. A temporary funding fix for the financially struggling Illinois colleges and universities is in limbo this morning. Lawmakers delayed a vote on that rare bipartisan bill. It would have sent them more than $600 million. Republican House Leader Jim Durkin promising Governor Bruce Rauner will sign that bill if it gets to him. Patrick Kane scores on a backhander early in the second OT. Blackhawks avoid first-round elimination with a 4-3 win over the Blues. Jake Arrieta of the Cubs tossing his second no-hitter in the span of 11 regular season starts in a rout of the Reds.
Timing was off from start to finish. I was just able to lock it in big situations to force some contact and, pile up some outs pretty quickly.
It's the 15th no-hitter in Cubs history. Angels beat the White Sox 3-2. The news, a service of Hum by Verizon. The designed to make your car smarter. Just plug it in and you'll get vehicle diagnostics and pinpoint roadside assistance and peace of mind. And a smarter, safer, more connected car at hum.com. Now, check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The average Republican voter out there right now is looking for an outsider who will blow the whole damn thing up.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I don't want somebody who comes from Washington. I don't want somebody to get along with Democrats, not this year. I want the whole system blown up. That's why Trump, or that's why Cruz.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This year, that's where Republican voters are at.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
In our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center this morning, a quick update with Jim Talamonte.
Mike and Mundelein southbound 83 is closed Winchester to 60 due to a crash. Inbound Stevenson slow western to Damon with a crash in the right lane. It's about a 5-minute delay. Ride at Bishop Ford, a very slight inbound delays. Traffic as a service, timeshareexitteam.com. You could get out of your timeshare safely and legitimately, would you? Timeshare Exit Team has a 100% guarantee. They'll get you out or give you a full refund. TimeshareExitTeam.com. Get out now at TimeshareExitTeam.com. It's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Fog this morning, breezy and cooler throughout the day. We'll have some sunshine breaking out this afternoon. High 53, 53 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals. Get more money for your home by listing with a real marketing expert.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I'm still recovering from even more than the death of Prince.
Yes.
Hillary Clinton remembering Prince.
Oh, yeah. Well, she was on radio last night in Philadelphia. Heartbroken about the passing of Prince. She's one with the people, Dan. She's down with it. She's hip, okay? And she cares.
Listening to her remember Prince is like watching my dad dance at a wedding. Just make it stop. You don't got it. Enough.
I don't feel no ways tired.
Oh. We have 7 more months of that.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of the presidential race, a couple of news items before we get to Trump's little Today Show town hall. RNC, this was the fodder for conspiracy theorists who believe that the world inside the GOP is conspiring to rig the election against Trump. RNC Rules Committee adjourned yesterday, just 1 hour after it began, without making any rules changes, including a proposed rule change that could have made it more difficult for party leaders to nominate a quote-unquote white knight candidate, someone not currently in the race. Committee members repeatedly warned against provoking the ire of the voters by suggesting rules changes just months before Republicans meet for the convention in Cleveland in July is not a good idea. So no rules changes to the convention at this point. And Donald Trump had his contingent down there in Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah. Your guy Paul
Manafort was there, as well as Rick Wiley, who's actually an Illinois guy. He worked for Lolita Diedrichson back in the 90s.
Really?
And then he presided over Scott Walker's kind of failed launch this election cycle. He was with the Scott Walker presidential campaign and recently was hired by Trump along with Ben Carson. They were down there making their pitch on behalf of their guy. So no rule changes on the RNC side, so that's worth noting.
But also, too, yesterday, Paul promised the RNC members down there in Florida that Donald Trump will be raising money for the RNC. So they had to like that, right? Because it's always about the almighty dollar.
Yeah,
it can't hurt.
I mean, it's not about so much the money that he raises.
Well,
it's
threw that in though.
That's like an overture to say I'm going to be a team player.
Okay,
that's really what that is, and that's smart on Manafort's part. And the Trump campaign, frankly, has gotten a lot more professional.
Yesterday they hired a speechwriter and they got a teleprompter.
Yeah, well, it's gotten a lot more professional since Paul Manafort was hired, coloring inside some traditional lines and making those kind of sensible overtures to party regulars that will have an impact not just on confirming the selection of the voters if Trump gets to 1237 plus, but also in supporting Trump as the nominee in the general election. Remember, you got another big step to go. Mm-hmm. So it's smart. But then there was Trump.
Oh, yeah.
On the Today Show.
A little bit of a strategy shift, huh? A little bit more of moving to the middle on social issues, huh? Or or we lost him to the left?
Who could see that coming?
Yeah. People out there, Trump supporters.
So Trump was on yesterday with Savannah and Matt and all the girls. And he had this to say about the Caitlyn Jenner matter and the whole issue of bathroom policy in this country more generally.
Mr. Trump, please be specific. Tell us your views on LGBT, how you plan to be inclusive as president. Speak about North Carolina bathroom law in particular.
Oh, I had a feeling that question was going to come up, I will tell you. Well, look, North Carolina did something that was very strong, and they're paying a big price, and there's a lot of problems. And I heard one of the best answers I heard was from a commentator yesterday saying, leave it the way it is right now. There have been very few problems. Leave it the way it is. North Carolina, what they're going through with all of the business that's leaving and all of the strife, and that's on both sides. You leave it the way it is. There have been very few complaints the way it is. People go, they use the bathroom that they feel is appropriate. There has been so little trouble. And the problem with what happened in North Carolina is the strife and the economic punishment that they're taking. So I would say that's probably the best.
Do you have any transgender people working in your organization?
I don't know. No? I really don't know. I probably do. I really don't.
And then he was asked the specific example of Caitlyn Jenner.
People go, they use the bathroom that they feel.
So if Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses?
That is correct.
Anybody unclear about his position? That it's okay for grown men to be in the bathroom with little girls. That's the position. That's the same position as the politically correct addled left, isn't it?
Yeah, it's how Hillary Clinton feels and Bernie Sanders.
312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line. Change your view of Trump? Surprised by this at all? 646-360-A, Turnkey.pro text line.
Are you surprised at all that he's had this moderate shift on social issues?
No.
You knew this is...
Trump, he has not thought about these issues. He has no philosophical core. He will move wherever he thinks to move at any given time, and then he'll turn around and move 180 degrees back as needed. He did it in Wisconsin on abortion, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, we'll get back to the bathroom thing in a second.
Yeah.
Also, on that same panel, that same town hall, Trump said, the Republican platform every 4 years has a provision that states that the right of the unborn child should not be a fringe, and it makes no exceptions. This was the question. Makes no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the mother. Would you want to change the Republican platform to include exceptions that you would have? Trump's response to that question that was posed to him by Savannah Guthrie. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Absolutely. For the 3 exceptions, I would.
And here he is making that pledge.
I would. Yes, I would. Absolutely. For the 3 exceptions.
So there you go. I wonder how Phyllis Schlafly, who's endorsed Trump and created a strife, to borrow a Trump verbiage, created strife with an Eagle Foreman in the pro-life movement. I wonder what she thinks about that now. Wonder what pro-lifers who have signed on for Trump think about that now. The platform is whatever my position is. No, that's not quite right. And what his position is on the life issue oscillates all over the place.
Yeah, well, he was pro-choice. Remember, he told Tim Russert that back in late 90s, he said that he was very pro-choice in every way, shape, and form, and then he changed back, and we never did hear his aha moment where he decided to become pro-life.
So I want to hear from Trump supporters, particularly those that are always moralizing about Trump, and I mean, I'm sure we'll hear that some don't care about moral issues, and that if their daughter went to the bathroom with a grown man, or their dad went to the bathroom and a grown man followed her in, they'd have no problem with it, their daughter, their granddaughter. But I want to hear it. Because I did get some feedback on social media that this actually it was an issue. Always looking for an issue. Is there anything Trump could do that would repel you as a Trump supporter? And a couple of people said this was it.
Really? 312-642-5600 is our number.
Let's go to Paul in New Lenox. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. You guys are always doing a great job.
Thank you.
Just wanted to make a comment. You can't have a bathroom monitor monitoring whether a guy is a guy or a girl is a girl. If somebody's going to send a 4-year daughter into the bathroom, that parent should probably go into the bathroom with her. That's all I have to say. I mean, it's kind of like making a mountain out of a molehill.
Right.
So, yeah, I still support Trump because I want him to rattle some cages when he goes to Washington.
Thanks for the call, Paul. Appreciate it. I mean, he's rattling cages, but he's rattling the cages of a lot of conservatives and people that maybe are not even ideological, but don't think that, whatever I feel like today is where I can is what I can access. If I feel like a woman, then I'm in the woman's fitting room or the woman's bathroom. If I feel like a man and I'm a woman, then I'm hanging out next to you at the urinal. That doesn't matter because we don't need bathroom monitors. Is that what we had previously? No, we've just had separate accommodations.
We have parents that hover too much and they never cut the cord and let the kids go into the bathrooms by themselves. I, as a mother of 2 young boys, I stand outside the washroom when they use the men's washroom all the time. I don't trust anybody because things have happened inside washrooms where, and I can't go in there and protect them because I'm a woman. But now maybe if I feel like a man, Dan, and I think somebody's doing something nefarious with my kid, maybe I can storm in there and then I'll explain to the police, well, I just feel like a man right now.
We've had incidents.
I have testosterone going through me.
We've had incidents where, because if you watch a man go into a woman's bathroom, that is nothing to take notice of. Incidents where you have people that are perverts go into the women's bathroom and kind of peep, if you will, be lascivious. You get where I'm going with this.
That was in L.A., right?
Yeah, and there'll be more of that because we don't have judgment. We don't need bathroom monitors because we haven't had bathroom monitors for the history of our country up until this point. It's quite the opposite. The government is getting involved to redefine. This is the extension of the redefinition of marriage. It's more government, actually, is what you're doing. You think you're just throwing up your hands and it's more freedom. Actually more government and the degradation of the culture. And if with the degradation of the culture, you get the degradation of the rule of law. So if you believe in the rule of law, then you have to place some importance on the culture that informs it. I think Tony on the South Side.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Listen, this is where my ire is with our government. It's finally dawned on me. Why are we wasting our time on this issue when there's more important and pressing issues in our country than who gets to use what bathroom? Now, I know you guys see this. You can walk in mostly any public place these days now and see 3 different bathrooms, a man's, a woman's, and what they call a family bathroom, where it has a lock on the door so if a father needs to change a daughter or vice versa. And nobody had a problem with that, so let's leave it as it is. Stop the madness around.
Yeah, Tony, thanks for the call. You're wrong. I'm sorry. But this is a good example of where government intervenes. Yeah, you have perhaps some businesses that have made a choice. man, woman, family. Now, what you're going to have under the rubric of non-discrimination, force. You're not if you're a business owner, you're not going to be allowed to have a men and a woman bathroom, men's and women's, right? Because that's discriminatory. You can't even recognize those two. And so we'll have it everybody together. You know, it'd be like a Coke commercial, except in the bathroom. Jordan and Forest Park are in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I called a few weeks ago about this, and Trump is not a conservative. He never was. His position on trade is basically left of Hillary. So I think now maybe he feels a little more comfortable that he's going to get the Republican nomination, and now he can maybe start pushing out some of his real thoughts. And he's going to eliminate abortion and the LGBT issue from Hillary. Hillary will not be able to use it against him, and I think that's what his plan is in a general election campaign against Hillary.
Thanks for the call, Jordan. I agree with you, except for the part where you said Donald Trump has any real thoughts.
In many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, we're going to have some morning fog this Friday. Otherwise cooler, some clouds, a little mix of sun in there, a high of just 53 degrees. Then the warming trend begins Saturday. Mostly sunny, a high of 63. And on Sunday, it's going to be gorgeous for the Ravenswood 5K run. Mostly cloudy, warmer, a high near 80 degrees. Anything spectacular on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Well, right now, things aren't too bad, actually, on the expressways and tollways for the most part. There are some significant closures, including in Mundelein. Southbound 83 is closed from Winchester to 60 because of a crash. Woodridge eastbound International Parkway still shut down from Joliet Road and 355 just before that point due to an extra alarm fire at a furniture warehouse. Inbound Eisenhower, a little heavy now. First Avenue to Harlem. It's a 2-minute delay. Outbound all clear. Aidens, Kennedy, still fine. Inbound Stevenson, scattered delays start at Pulaski. There's a crash right at the Ryan blocking 2 right lanes. So it's 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan's pretty light, just a little heavy entering downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, 2 to 3 minute delays approaching the merge. And the Indiana Toll Road has the usual construction delays in Porter and the Fort Counties. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
If medications haven't helped you treat your depression, why haven't you tried TMS therapy offered by Theramind? Now there is a way to successfully treat your depression without the need for meds and their harmful side effects. TMS therapy is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Don't continue to suffer needlessly. Call Theramind. Don't wait. Call Theramind now. 847-562-5868. The single greatest advancement to date in treating depression is TMS. It's an FDA-cleared, non-drug, safe, and effective treatment. TMS has already changed the lives of over 50,000 patients. Why not you? Visit tmsmind.com. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. Call Theramind today, 847-562-5868, or get more info at tmsmind.com. That's Theramind at 847-562-5868. or online at tmsmind.com.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today. CertaPro.com. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
The big DuPage County Home Remodeling Expo, a free home show that's open to the public, is coming to the Odeum Expo Center this weekend only. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or siding, then this is the event for you. At this 2-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services. Get new ideas, set up estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Maybe you need a new furnace, state-of-the-art generator, or just a handyman. You'll find everything you need under one roof. Increase the value of your home and bring your friends and family. Special announcement! Attend this free home show and get a free gift at the door. You heard it right, that's a free gift at the door. Remember, the DuPage County Home Remodeling Expo this weekend only at the Odeum Expo Center in Villa Park. Get more information at homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
Air Filter Engineers, how can we help you?
Hi, I'm Mike, Chief Engineer at the big building on South Wabash. I wanted to let you know that ever since I started using your company to provide my air filters, everything's been great. We have less people calling in sick because of the improved air quality, energy bills have gone down, and your customer service and deliveries have been excellent. You guys really make my job easier.
We try hard, Mike. Is there anything we can help you with today?
No, it's just that my mother told me not to say anything unless I have something good to say. This is the first time I've been able to speak today.
Ah, it's 4 o'clock.
I know. Thanks for listening.
New local businesses get their first order delivered free when they mention AM 560. Minimum order supply, 630-384-0400. That's 630-384-0400. Or find them online at filterexperts.com. That's filterexperts.com. Air Filter Engineers, providing Chicagoland with cleaner air.
AM 560. The Answer.
You know the name Barbara Walters. Now remember the company, Ameritrust Mortgage.
Ameritrust Mortgage was formed along with a talented professional staff that makes your mortgage process easy, swift, and cost-efficient for you, the home buyer, and for those who refinance. Ameritrust is all-inclusive, start to finish, the way lending should be. At Ameritrust, we believe it has been our privilege to have helped thousands of people over 30 years with purchasing or refinancing their home. We are here to help. Let us customize a loan program for your specific needs, FHA, VA, or conventional. At Ameritrust, the responsibility belongs to me. It's my name on the door. I am the president. I am Barbara Walters. Call Ameritrust now, 815-459-7303. Again, that number is 815-459-7303. Or visit us at am560myhome.com.
Ameritrust Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee number 720. NMLS number 217229.
Well, there you are, up at 2 a.m. again, worrying. Counting sheep sure isn't going to work. You're a small business owner. You don't get to hand your technical problems off to a department of others to handle. Stop losing sleep. Get professional help from Turnkey IT. The fact is, Turnkey IT has some insomnia too. Why? Because they know that small businesses like yours provide 55% of all American jobs, and they're sleeplessly working new and different angles to make you better. They drive small businesses from 5 to 100 network users, and they're anxious to help you find custom IT solutions to keep America running. So when you're ready to sleep again, remember that Turnkey IT is awake for you. Visit turnkey.pro for your IT needs today, and change America tomorrow. That's turnkey.pro, where they'll leave the computers on for you.
With warmer temperatures just around the corner, you can't wait to kiss the snow and cold weather goodbye. But Old Man Winter is still lingering around in your carpet and area rugs. Yuck. Months of foot traffic over the winter season brought in water, mud, and salt stains. That's why you need to spring clean with Executive Green Carpet Cleaning. This month, you'll save 40% on any 3-room purchase. That's right, save 40% when you reserve today. And you'll also receive a free bottle of Eco Green Spot Treatment while supplies last. Call 708-599-5151 or visit executivegreencarpetcleaning.com. They'll use their own purified water and a natural cleaning solution that leaves no residue. A much safer alternative for your family and pets. And unlike the big box cleaners, Executive Green promises you'll be 100% satisfied with your results or your service is free. Schedule now, 708-599-5151 or executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Some shows talk about pop culture. We're the only one that talks about the importance of culture, real culture. to that end, the story of Dr. Eric Walsh at 6:06.
And then later, make your reservations now, and clothing is not optional. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Mayor Emanuel makes changes to the CPD and trying to figure out what caused a massive fire. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He's being mourned and celebrated. Prince fans at a big street party in New York City. A vigil also turned into a party at a park in L.A., and they danced all night in Minneapolis.
This intersection, quite popular, 7th and 1st Avenue. In fact, these street sweepers, or at least you can hear them, this looks more like Times Square after New Year's Eve. Thousands flocking here to where it all began. The club, of course, calling Prince the patron saint of First Avenue. People laying flowers and lighting candles near Prince's infamous star painted on the side of the building overnight.
Bill Keller with Fox 9 TV. Prince was just 57, found unresponsive in an elevator at his compound. There'll be an autopsy today. The star musician recently canceled some shows, not feeling well. President Obama's in Britain, getting praised and criticized for weighing in on a big European issue. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, the president speaking out in support of Britain's continued membership of the European Union. This is Britain prepares to hold a referendum on quitting the EU. The president's backing is a huge boost for British Prime Minister David Cameron. He says it's important to hear from one of the UK's closest allies, but the intervention is angering anti-EU campaigners. Away from politics, the president will have lunch with the Queen and Prince Philip, and then dinner with William and Kate and Prince Harry. Dave?
Simon, if Donald Trump wins the Republican nomination, expect a different candidate. That's what one of his top advisors has told Republican Party leaders at a private meeting in Florida, where the GOP has decided not to make changes to the floor rules at the convention.
The committee's rules panel voting against a significant change.
We are not putting our finger on the scale for any candidate.
Utah committee member Enid Mickelson and several others expressed concern any rules change would be viewed as playing favorites.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. Uber says it's settled a pair of major class action lawsuits in California and Massachusetts that'll keep its drivers independent contractors instead of employees. This is Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly cloudy skies and 49 degrees. 6:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities are still trying to figure out what has caused a massive blaze at a furniture warehouse in Woodridge. The blaze began yesterday at Room Place, Harlem Furniture on International Parkway, and there are hot spots still burning this morning. Dozens of employees were able to escape. More than 100 firefighters at its peak were battling that blaze. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel proposing changes to the way police-involved shootings and police misconduct are investigated, but he's stopping short of a task force recommendation to abolish the agency that handles those investigations. Republican Governor Bruce Rauner says a House-approved property tax freeze does not go far enough. House approved that freeze Thursday. That does not apply to home rule governments like Chicago, but it does prohibit school districts from getting any more in property tax revenue than they did in 2015. Meantime, a temporary funding fix for financially struggling Illinois public colleges and universities is in limbo because lawmakers delayed a vote on a rare bipartisan measure that would have sent them $600 million. The Illinois Senate has also approved what's been dubbed the tampon tax bill in this state. AM 560's David Stewart joins us with details.
The legislation exempts feminine hygiene products from the state sales tax by classifying them as medical necessities, not luxuries. Senator Melinda Bush of Grayslake says that's only fair.
And while they certainly are important to a woman's hygiene, I don't think any lady in this chamber would think of them as luxury items like scented soap or volumizing shampoo.
The bill now moves to the House. 5 other states have similar laws on the books. David Stewart, Chicago.
Former Chicago Bears player Desmond Clark pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct charges filed in connection with an incident at his son's suburban Chicago high school. Clark says he believes the charges were motivated by racism, but was sentenced Thursday to 90 days of court supervision. Those charges will be wiped from his record if the terms are completed successfully. Patrick Kane, a backhander game winner in the second overtime. Blackhawks avoid a first-round elimination with a 4-3 win over the Blues early this morning. Jake Arrieta and the Cubs, 16-0 winners over the Reds. And, oh, by the way, just a no-hitter for Arrieta, the second in 11 regular season starts, the 15th in team history. Jared Weaver and the Angels come back to beat the White Sox 3-2. And the news is a service of TimeshareExitTeam.com. The only thing worse than being stuck is stuck in a timeshare. Get out now, safely, legitimately with Timeshare Exit Team. They'll get you out or get you a full refund. TimeshareExitTeam.com, TimeshareExitTeam.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity warns of a third-party challenge.
The Washington Post today is claiming that a group of, quote, conservative leaders got together this morning to plot a third-party challenge if Donald Trump gets the nomination. I would argue, and I'm saying this respectfully, this is a death wish. This is a plan to help elect Hillary. This is a circular firing squad.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
So, Dave, would you say your lawn is army green or hunter green?
I'd say more shamrock green.
Wow, greenest green I've ever seen.
Thanks to new Ironite from Pennington. It's loaded with iron and turned my yellow lawn to green. Fast. It's a green machine.
I'm jealous, but that means more mowing.
No way. Ironite greens without the growth surge other fertilizers cause, so I relax and enjoy the green.
Well, I'm turning green with envy.
Better to turn green with Ironite.
New Ironite from Pennington. Turn your yellow lawn greener than green without extra mowing.
Focus. You need it to run a business, so don't let legal questions distract you. Use LegalZoom instead. Things like lease agreements and employment laws get complicated, but they're part of running a business. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys in 48 states. You can rely on them for the legal details without paying by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. So focus on growing your business and use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
6:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound I-65 traffic is slow from north of Ridge Road to past 8094 where there's a crash in the right lane. Indiana Toll Road has eastbound delays from past 94 to before State Road 49 and east of 421. Westbound delays in those same areas due to long-term road work. Downtown Chicago, Columbus is blocked off between Jackson and Balbo for NFL draft setup. Columbus will reopen at 8 a.m. and then close from 8 p.m. till May 2nd for the draft. The Edens is fine right now. No delays to report on the Kennedy. Inbound Eisenhower, it's a 3-minute delay. Manheim to Harlem. Stevenson bottled up Cicero to Damon. A crash is cleared. It's 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound Fonda 34. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at Napa Trek Hybrid Wiper Blades are as low as $14.99 each at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. While supplies last. Plus, save up to 50% by mail when you buy a pair. That's Napa know-how. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Areas of morning fog, otherwise a breezy day today with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Clouds will break for some sun with a high of 53. Then tonight, mainly clear with patchy frost after midnight. A low tonight of 38. Mostly sunny tomorrow, high 63. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
48 at O'Hare, 47 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
What's the one word you would use to describe Hillary Clinton?
Treacherous.
So if Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses.
That is correct.
And Donald on television this morning said, gosh, he thought that men should be able to go into the girls' bathroom if they want to. Now, let me ask you, have we gone stark raving nuts?
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I want to pick up on Ted Cruz's rhetorical question. Have we gone stark raving nuts? Well, we've been having that discussion as it pertains to bathrooms. And by the way, let me be clear on something with bathrooms before we get to the story of Dr. Eric Walsh.
Yes.
The issue is not the practical issue of monitoring and or not monitoring and the structure of the bathrooms and the signs. The issue is a cultural issue. Do we recognize that men and women are different? That XX and XY are two different things, or do we not? That's the issue.
Well, is there an epidemic of transgenders being evil in bathrooms? I mean, no, I know we cited the one case in
That's not
LA.
the point. The point is, I'm not accusing anybody of who's transgender of being evil.
Of being a pedophile?
If 100% of them were, those individuals were God-fearing, law-abiding citizens who never jaywalked, much less did anything else more serious wrong, it still wouldn't be okay. Because it is about recognizing culturally that gender is intrinsic. It is not a lifestyle choice. That's the issue. So all the practicality arguments about, well, parents need to go into the bathroom with their minor children, or you know, even if you go into a men's bathroom, there could be someone that's still leering at you. Or if you go into a woman's bathroom, you could still have some. Yeah, of course, all that's true. I don't care. That's not the issue. That those are silly, sophomoric arguments that miss the larger cultural point, which is where all of the implications flow. Culture. Are men and women different? Is gender intrinsic or a lifestyle choice? Those are the questions to answer as you contemplate all of the controversy surrounding bathrooms. Here's another question to answer. Do you think what you say or how you pray on Sunday should impact your employment? If you were to go to your church, Amy, and offer a reading on Sunday, or offer a homily, even guest homily.
I don't think
Amy
they want to hear
Jacobson.
from me.
Should that be something that your employer can take into consideration with respect to your continued employment?
Well, we do work at a Christian-based company.
Well,
so
I understand, but say that you
don't we get a $20 Target card for going to church around here? We used to.
Well, say that you said something on Sunday that ran contrary to the corporate values of Salem Communications, or that the employees here found uncomfortable.
Well, I've always been worried because I'm a pro-choice Republican.
Yes.
And I always worried, because this station is conservative, and in that social aspect, I don't follow the company line.
Right.
I just don't. I think it should be a religious issue. It should be an issue between a woman and her doctor, a woman and her husband or boyfriend.
But the question is, it's a normative question.
Yes.
Because obviously that has not impacted your employment here.
Yet.
Right.
I've got an email from the HR director.
Yes. It's
I have to leave early today.
It's a decades-long conspiracy. We're just waiting for the right moment. No, it's a normative question. Should it?
Should it?
Is it okay if that happens? Because here's the case of Dr. Eric Walsh. Dr. Eric Walsh is a California physician. He's a former director of public health for the city of Pasadena. He is also a devout Christian, a Seventh-day Adventist. What's that? I've never heard of that. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. When you find out what it is, I want to know. Yeah.
We're working on our Trump impersonation.
My ex was a Seventh-day Adventist, and that's why he's my ex.
Were you married to Dr. Ben Carson? Oh.
No, but there. I mean, it's different. I'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't celebrate birthdays. They don't celebrate Christmas. It's very strange.
Okay, well,
but that's what they believe.
Dr. Eric Walsh, California physician, former director of public health for the city of Pasadena, Christian Seventh-day Adventist. He's a lay preacher, lay minister at his church. Okay. By the way, while in California, he was working to combat AIDS. He served as a board member of the Latino Health Collaborative. He started California's first city-run dental clinic for low-income families dealing with HIV/AIDS. So you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a reputable man.
Recently, he accepted a position as the state of Georgia's Department of Public Health Director for the northwest part of the state. That was a couple of years ago, May of 2014. But then a week later, word got out
that what?
That he's a lay minister.
What's wrong with being a lay
That he
minister?
preaches on Sundays.
Uh-oh.
So because he preaches on Sundays, or some Sundays, obviously state officials did the logical thing. They requested copies of his sermons.
That's none of their business.
They requested copies of his sermons.
Oh, no. Did he give it to him?
And you had, I don't think he gave his sermons to them, but ultimately some of his sermons were posted online. And Department of Public Health employees in Georgia went online and listened to them and took notes. And so they found that in his sermons, among other things, he said homosexuality is a sin and evolution is a religion created by Satan. Georgia health officials rescinded the job offer they had made to Walsh because of the remarks he made in church on Sunday on the issues of homosexuality and evolution. Now, Walsh ultimately filed a complaint with the Federal Equal Opportunity Commission in Atlanta, the EEOC, and he is suing the state for religious discrimination. Is that legitimate or illegitimate? His suit is or look at it conversely, is what the state of Georgia did legitimate or illegitimate?
312-642-5600. What do you think, Dan?
I think it's an infringement on religious freedom. I don't think it's dissimilar from the IRS requesting copies of your prayers in deciding whether or not they will confer tax-exempt status to a particular organization. Do you want the government being the arbiter of what you can or cannot say in church? This is why right there in the front, ye old Constitution, ye old Bill of Rights, you've got the freedom of religion provision. It's not so, and the purpose is to keep the government out of it, to say to the state, this is a place that is inviolate. You shall not enter. You may not come in here and start making policy decisions based on people's faith and how they pray and the sum and substance of their prayers and Saturday service or Sunday service.
Well, it's also a freedom of speech violation. I mean, he can't say what he wants without the repercussions of possibly losing his job. Is what he said in church going to affect his performance as the director of the Department of Health? I don't think so. Do they have any proof of that? No, they're just assuming that what he said in church is going to translate into how he feels and how he handles his job.
Well, right. And
I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that's probably their line of thinking of, if he feels that way, he's not going to help out people who have AIDS.
Right.
Or people who are HIV positive.
Obviously, the guy who started the first city-run dental clinic for low-income families dealing with HIV AIDS in Pasadena, California.
See, they forgot about that.
Is a bigot. Obviously. Oh, boy.
Just reminds me what happened to our principal at Blaine. He's made disparaging remarks against the mayor, and poof, now he's out of a job.
Well, that wasn't a religious freedom issue.
No, it wasn't, but it's a freedom of speech issue, I think.
Well.
Same thing, big government. Watch it.
Andy and Elwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys, good morning.
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 Hey, I'd just like to say that this is kind of the difference between Christians and other people. You may not like the what is perceived as a sin, but you're still going to be helping somebody, not beheading them.
Correct.
Thank you.
That's a big difference, Andy, isn't it? Thanks for that distinction. Ryan T. Anderson from the Heritage Foundation made the succinct point. I think this is a fair encapsulation of my view. Public servants shouldn't lose their jobs because of sermons that they preach off the clock on their personal time in the house of worship, obviously. Mike on the north side. Hey, Mike.
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to say one difference between Christians and Democrats, people who believe in creation and evolution. Creation, God made us in his own image. Evolution, we descended from apes. So Christians are children of God. believe in evolution, you could say they're a monkey's uncle. That's why on Easter, my family watches the Ten Commandments, and Obama's family watches Planet of the Apes.
Okay, no.
Keep it clean, Mike.
No.
Mike.
That was a comment about evolution. I don't think that was intended to be racially tinged. It was about Democrats versus practicing Christians. I just want to rally to the defense of Mike for that unfortunate comparison. I should note, by the way, Dr. Eric Walsh, I mean, we have to note this in the day and age in which we live. Dr. Eric Walsh is an African-American gentleman.
Oh, did not know that.
Just thought...
it's important to the story.
Factor that in as well.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, a Maryland sheriff comments on immigration. You got to hear this. But first, here's your forecast. Little patches of morning fog, otherwise breezy, cooler, some clouds and sun, a high of 53 degrees. Then for the weekend, things are going to be warming up around here. Saturday, mostly sunny, warmer, a high of 63. And on Sunday, we'll have partly sunny skies and a high near 80 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Northbound I-65, it's jammed from north of Ridge Road to north of 8094, where there's a crash in the right lane. The Indiana Toll Road delays due to construction are eastbound from past 94 to before State Road 49, and then from east of 421 to State Road 39, and westbound pretty much in those same areas. Mundelein 83 is now closed in both directions, Winchester and 60 due to a crash. Inbound Kennedy, Slow Cumberland to Canfield, 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. The Eisenhower, 34 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 29. Stevenson, 45 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 26 minutes. 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, when you buy a new house, do you buy the first one you see? When you sell your house, you don't choose the first real estate broker you hear about. You should choose the agent backed by the most powerful brand in real estate. And guess what? That agent is Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. Now, Ed doesn't need to offer gimmicks like promising to buy your home because he can't sell it or 24-hour listing agreements. What he does offer is the promise of hard work, innovative marketing plans to sell your home. Now, the most compelling reason to call RE/MAX Professionals is the best. Ed Lukasik Jr. has closed over 1,600 homes since 2008. Last year, he sold over 229 listings, and the average real estate agent closed about 7 homes a year. So make the right choice. Choose RE/MAX Professionals to list your home. Get an in-person market analysis straight from Ed. Call 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice. And then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable. And I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
You know the name Barbara Walters. Now remember the company, Ameritrust Mortgage.
Ameritrust Mortgage was formed along with a talented professional staff that makes your mortgage process easy, swift, and cost-efficient for you, the home buyer, and for those who refinance. Ameritrust is all-inclusive, start to finish, the way lending should be. At Ameritrust, we believe it has been our privilege to have helped thousands of people over 30 years with purchasing or refinancing their home. We are here to help. Let us customize a loan program for your specific needs, FHA, VA, or conventional. At Ameritrust, the responsibility responsibility belongs to me. It's my name on the door. I am the president. I am Barbara Walters. Call Ameritrust now, 815-459-7303. Again, that number is 815-459-7303. Or visit us at am560myhome.com.
Ameritrust Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee number 720. NMLS number 217229.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, happy Earth Day.
Oh,
Amy.
yeah. Did you get my Hallmark card?
No, I didn't.
I put it on your desk.
Is it recyclable, I hope?
Of course it is. Because in honor of Earth Day, I do want to take all your papers that are over there on the side of the council and recycle them. Will you let me do that? Please?
No. No.
Oh, what did you suggest during the break that we should do for Earth Day?
I don't know. Crack open a couple of cans of nuclear waste or go bully a polar bear or something.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So Maryland next week, Tuesday, one of the 5 states that is having their primary in the presidential race.
You want to know the delegate count? Wait, I have it for you. Maryland, 38 Republican delegates at stake. I'm the numbers lady. So if you Pennsylvania, 71. Connecticut, 28. Delaware, 16. And Rhode Island, 19. Ask me something else.
538 has Nate Silver. The New York Times has Nate Cohn. Our sabermetrician, Amy Jacobson. Maryland voters may want to take heed of what Sheriff Charles Jenkins of Frederick County, Maryland, had to say before Congress this week on the matter of immigration, illegal immigration, illegal people here illegally committing crimes. Sheriff David Clark from Milwaukee County, Sheriff Joe Arpaio from Maricopa County. I think we need to add, after you hear from Sheriff Jenkins from Frederick County, Maryland, add him to the list because he had some pointed remarks for Congress on a range of issues, made a fairly compelling case, starting with DACA, the Deferred Action on Childhood Arrivals, and the impact that unaccompanied minors coming across the border has had in his county.
64% of the gang members encountered in 2015 were unaccompanied juveniles when they entered the U.S. They're now adults committing more serious crimes. Those crimes include attempted murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, home invasion, armed carjacking, kidnapping, and use of firearms and felonies.
And they've woven themselves into the community like in high school.
The growing alien gang problem has spread into our area high schools where fights in one particular school has become almost a daily occurrence between rival gangs.
And he had some specific observations from his experience on the ground as a county sheriff 40 miles from Washington, D.C., for the folks in Washington, D.C. and the regime.
Since 2008, this administration has weakened immigration enforcement by dismissing deportation cases, rescinding 287G agreements, encouraging sanctuary policies, and weakening detainer policies. ICE directives have limited enforcement priorities, suspended many thousands of removals, granted deferred actions, and suspended removals for aliens who falsely claim to be victims.
And so the interesting thing, that the point that he was making, it's a policy point. I mean, it's very much like the conversation we're having in Chicago about the police. And John Cass has made this point repeatedly in the columns he's written on topic, which is if you have an administration that is handcuffing your law enforcement, then don't be surprised when you're not getting out of law enforcement what you want. If you have an administration that is corrupt and morally adrift, then don't be surprised if that permeates law enforcement, because there's a difference between what people are trying to do on the streets and then what they're allowed to do by their political overlords.
ICE is broken, but it's not on the street. It's a couple blocks down here in Washington, D.C. This allowed criminals to be released back on the streets. In effect, criminal aliens that should have been deported have been allowed to remain and commit more heinous crimes to our citizens.
But why aren't we deporting them? Because they have the same problem in Arizona, in Maricopa County, with Joe Arpaio. Says it again and again. He releases them to ICE, and then 2-3 weeks later, sometimes days later, they end up back in prison. Why is it a money issue?
No, it's a political will issue, because there are other political interests to be served, like registering them to vote.
That's right.
And I'll tell you what, Sheriff Charles Jenkins from Frederick County, Maryland, summed up his testimony very nicely to your point about Maricopa County and what Sheriff Joe encounters on a daily basis. He basically said, you continue these policies that have been propagated under this administration, and every county in America is going to be a border county.
before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Now that spring has arrived, it's likely you're looking forward to the warmer weather. But if you're a business owner, facilities manager, or maintenance engineer, you risk the same potential problem every year. A complete system failure. In fact, up to half of all commercial air conditioning units fail upon startup each season due to the lack of regular maintenance and repair. Let the professionals at Air Comfort make a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system before there's a problem. A poorly operating air conditioning system results in uneven temperatures and humidity problems, leading to unhealthy mold and mildew growth. Don't compromise your business's overall air quality. Schedule today with Air Comfort. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Even if you're under contract with another provider, let Air Comfort provide your second opinion. After all, there's a reason why hundreds of businesses have trusted Air Comfort with their mechanical maintenance for more than 80 years. That's Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
AM 560. The Answer.
Wow, we're going to go back to Prince, right? You're going to sing your favorite Prince song at 8:35?
Absolutely, as long as Apollonia shows up.
Oh, yeah. We got Sheila E. in the waiting room, too.
Coming up, we have Bethany McLean, not part of Prince and the Revolution. She's the author of Shaky Ground about Fannie and Freddie and the housing crisis and what it looks like 8 years now after the fact. But we're also going to talk about where did all the money go from the billions in fines that Wall Street banks paid. You'll be surprised to learn. That's at 6:36.
And make your reservations now. There's a new restaurant where clothes are optional. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say hello to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Out of the north, winds are blowing at 5. It's 49 degrees. Millions of fans around the globe mourning the loss of Prince Rogers Nelson. Prince dying in Minneapolis, where authorities say they will perform an autopsy on the music icon's body today. They'll try to learn what caused the superstar's death.
There's this presence that Prince has in this area. You know, everybody knows him throughout the state, but especially when you live within the city where Paisley Park is, it's just something completely different.
The 57-year-old music icon died yesterday at his studios near Minneapolis. Carver County sheriffs say they found Prince unresponsive in an elevator when they arrived. The Brussels subway station where the suicide bomber killed 16 a month ago will reopen on Monday. The March 22nd bomb attack on board a Brussels metro train also damaged the Molenbeek station. U.S. government has asked German automaker Daimler AG to investigate possible indications of irregularities in its emissions certification process. The U.S. owners of Daimler's Mercedes-Benz BlueTech diesels recently filed a class action lawsuit claiming the cars are programmed in a way that lets them emit illegal levels of emissions similar to diesels made by fellow German automaker Volkswagen. Later this morning, a judge will reconsider a motion to permanently dismiss the case against a 73-year-old man who prosecutors say was wrongly convicted in the 1957 killing of a 7-year-old Illinois girl. The DeKalb County Circuit Judge will also weigh a request by the victim's brother to have a special prosecutor appointed to the case. At that hearing today, Jack McCullough was sentenced to life in prison in 2012 in the killing of Maria Ridolph in Sycamore. Authorities are trying to figure out what caused a massive blaze at a furniture warehouse in Woodridge. The blaze began yesterday at the Room Place Harlem Furniture Warehouse on International Parkway. Dozens of employees were able to escape that large facility unharmed. Over 100 firefighters at the peak of the fire were battling the blaze, with hot spots continuing to be mopped up this morning. Speaking of fire, Governor Scott Walker has declared a state of emergency in Wisconsin due to elevated wildfire conditions across that state. Patrick Kane, a backhand game winner in the second OT. Blackhawks avoid first-round elimination with a 4-3 win over the Blues early this morning. A no-no for Jake Arrieta and the Cubs in a 16-0 rout of the Reds. And the Angels beat the White Sox for a split of that four-game set, 3-2. The news, a service of TimeshareExitTeam.com. The only thing worse than being stuck in traffic is being stuck in a timeshare. So get out now safely, and legitimately with Timeshare Exit Team. They'll get you out or give you a full refund. TimeshareExitTeam.com. TimeshareExitTeam.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager restates his position on Donald Trump.
I am as opposed to Donald Trump winning the nomination as I can be because I am a conservative. I don't know any conservative positions that he holds. Having said that, I would still vote for him because between this insufferable Republican and the insufferable Democrat, I will take the insufferable Republican.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Here Maps. Hit the open road with free offline turn-by-turn guidance that works anywhere. Get it for your phone at here.com/offline.
Hey, as Mother's Day approaches, you may find yourself overwhelmed by gift options. What to buy, where to buy? Here's a tip. Visit MJ Miller & Company and know your gift will be treasured for years to come. Consider a locket or piece of mother's jewelry containing the birthstones of all of her children, or browse their boutique dedicated to the whimsical world of Mackenzie Childs. Visit MJ Miller & Company in Barrington or online at mjmillerjewelers.com and see one of the largest selections of jewelry and giftware in the Midwest. Plus, now is a great time to trade in your unwanted or broken gold and platinum jewelry, watches, and coins minted prior to 1964. Apply the credit towards a gift for mom. Hey, MJ Miller & Company is located at 123 West Main Street in downtown Barrington. They're open Monday through Thursday until 6, Saturday until 5, and every Thursday evening until 8. Call 847-381-7900 or visit mjmillerjewelers.com.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-1502. That's 1-800-663-1502. 1-800-663-1502.
So, Dave, would you say your lawn is army green or hunter green?
I'd say more shamrock green.
Wow, greenest green I've ever seen.
Thanks to new Ironite from Pennington. It's loaded with iron and turned my yellow lawn to green. Fast. It's a green machine.
I'm jealous. But that means more mowing.
No way. Ironite greens without the growth surge other fertilizers cause, so I relax and enjoy the green.
Well, I'm turning green with envy.
Better to turn green with Ironite.
New Ironite from Pennington. Turn your yellow lawn greener than green without extra mowing.
6:37 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Edens, traffic hits the brakes from Cicero to the junction. 22 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 26 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Eisenhower's 40 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 29. Stevenson, slow Harlem to the right. It's 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95th in downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, free of any significant delays. Northbound Tri-State is slow from Archer to the Mylong Bridge, from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway, slow Barrington Road to Roselle. The Indiana Toll Road has construction delays in both directions in Porter and LaPorte counties, but I-65 has cleared up after an earlier northbound crash near 8094. Traffic is a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast? If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. A pair of LifeLock, their U.S.-based team of specialists, help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Areas of fog this morning. Then breezy and cooler. Clouds will break for some sunshine, a high of 53. We're getting reports of fog right now at O'Hare, Aurora, Lansing, Joliet, and visibility in Wheeling not so good, and fog in Romeoville as well. 48 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Wall Street banks, big issue in the presidential race, being effectively demagogued by Bernie Sanders for much of the campaign. So let's do a little bit of a claw back and pull forward with respect to the housing bubble bursting back in 2008 and what happened there with the bailouts, and then all of the pursuit of the big banks that were supposedly the bad actors and what happened there. So let's start back in 2008. Remember AIG got a $100 billion bailout? $100 billion bailout. $58 billion went to banks headquartered outside the U.S., $19 billion to German banks, $17 billion to French banks, and $44 billion went to counterparts headquartered in the U.S., such as Goldman Sachs, as well in states such as California and Virginia. And then fast forward through the past 8 years as there was a reckoning by law enforcement with the big banks, not in terms of people going to jail, and maybe they shouldn't have, but in terms of extracting the money that essentially was used to bail them out, get it back by the government getting it back, at least a substantial portion of it, so then it could give it back to the banks. So they bail out the banks. They impose fines on the banks because they're the bad actors, the government wasn't. And then part of the money that they collect in fines, they turn around and give back to the same people that they bailed out and fined. You got that?
Yeah.
To the point, just to put some numbers on it, about $45 billion has been paid out in bank fines by the big banks. $13 billion by J.P. Morgan Chase, $16 billion Bank of America, $7 billion Citibank, Morgan Stanley $3 billion, Goldman Sachs $5 billion. Where's that money gone? $7 billion went to state and federal agencies, big government, and all the law enforcement types, and the FDIC, National Credit Union Association to reduce assessments for credit unions, and Fannie and Freddie, of course, $4 billion. $4 billion consumer relief. This is where the money went back to the banks that just were fined after they were bailed out. $2 billion in credit for J.P. Morgan to reduce the balance of mortgages in foreclosure-racked areas like Detroit. $500 million in credit for J.P. Morgan to halt the collection of mortgage payments, for example. And then $2 billion to the Justice Department so they can continue to pursue prosecutions that extract fines and keep this circle of life going, don't you know, Simba? It's fascinating.
My head is spinning over here.
Well, I mean...
no, but I get it. So we bailed them out, and then we fined them and got some of our money back.
Yeah, but it's...
But where's the money going?
But all of this is like kabuki theater, where law enforcement pretends that they're all Elliot Nesses out there taking aim at the big banks to make sure they don't get away with manipulating the markets or otherwise engaged in illicit, if not illegal, behavior. But it's there's a symbiotic relationship, like a shark and a suckerfish, or a parasitic one, perhaps. Well, to help us unpack all of this, let's get an expert in this area. She is Bethany McLean. She's a friend of the show. She's a contributing editor at Vanity Fair. She wrote the book, which you should read if you want to understand and explore what happened in 2008 and fast forward the past 8 years to see if we're not blowing up the same bubble that burst 8 years ago. Bethany McLean's book is Shaky Ground, The Strange Saga of the U.S. Mortgage Giants. And she joins us now. Bethany, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So what of this? The kind of the fining of the big banks and a lot of people complaining that none of the big bank honchos ever went to jail. They just paid out billions in fines they could afford. And now they're receiving a portion of those fines back and certain subsidies or incentives from the same government that said they were the bad actors.
Well, I loved your description of it as kabuki theater because I think that's exactly right and very funny. The debate will continue for a really long time, maybe forever, about whether or not people should have gone to jail in the wake of the financial crisis. As we know, they didn't. My personal view has always been that these are really hard cases to make. What's immoral is not necessarily illegal, and that there's a line between those two. But it's also clear that the government wasn't aggressive about making cases when it could have. But the bigger problem for me is that in all these settlements, you can't tell that the settlements are hammered out between lawyers for the banks and lawyers for the government. And you can't tell what actually happened and why it was that the punishments weren't more severe. When you read some of the details, it looks like securities fraud to me. And it's hard to understand then why it ended up in a monetary settlement where nobody is named and it's just the bank and there are no actual human names.
Bethany, why would Citibank have to settle for $7 billion when Morgan Stanley is paying $3.2 billion?
Well, there are differences in how the banks behaved, right? Some banks sold things that were much more problematic than other banks did, and hopefully you'd like to believe there's some rationale in the numbers. But to your point, it actually might not be. It might just be that Citibank's lawyers weren't as good as Morgan Stanley's lawyers.
Well, I mean, so if you sold more subprime mortgages, maybe you'd have a higher fine?
Maybe, and there's some rationale, right? Bank of America paid one of, I think, the highest fines thanks to their acquisition of Countrywide. They were one of the worst actors. But you can, again, circle that around and say, well, wait, the government basically encouraged Bank of America to buy Countrywide in order to help the financial system. Why does Bank of America now have to pay billions of dollars for Countrywide's bad behavior? So the whole thing is just completely messed up.
Well, it's funny because I've had this conversation with friends, and they say, about why didn't any of these big bankers go to jail? The heads of these big banks go to jail if there was such illegality going on. I mean, was there really illegality? And somebody told me, well, you go read this book by Sheila Bair called Bull by the Horns. So I looked at that book, which is 300 pages, and I searched the word illegal, and it appears 3 times in the whole book. I mean, it seems to me that there is this relationship between big government and the big banks, and they both knew what was going on while it was going on, and then it was the PR battle to CYA when it all came crashing down.
I think there's probably some truth to that. The regulators were in there with the bankers, and it makes it much harder for the regulators then to turn around and say, but you, Mr. Banker, broke the law. And even if you could, through a lot of these things, send some junior bankers to jail, the idea that then you'd be able to send the heads of these big firms to jail is just the connection between the two. You need direct evidence that they knew of bad behavior and look the other way. It's much trickier than people would like to believe, which doesn't mean it's fair, right? That's sort of the problem. And with all of these settlements that are going on, you actually can't tell if it's the government extorting the banks or the banks getting away with murder. and I find that really upsetting. I just want to know the gory details, and I think it would be helpful to know why decisions were made not to prosecute people, and then we could all say, okay, but it's all shrouded in this extra legal system of these settlements that are hammered out, where you, even me as a reporter who covers this, I can't actually tell what happened from reading the settlement.
Now, recently I went through the mortgage process, and it was a lot different than it was 7 years ago. I mean, it was almost a part-time job.
I had to co-sign your loan.
You did? No,
yes.
You did not. But so I went with this company, and they purchased my mortgage, and then they sold my mortgage to Fannie Mae.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want Fannie Mae, but I don't really have a choice, do I?
No, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are most of the mortgage market in this country now. They have been since the wake of the crisis. The so-called private label market, which was these loans that were sold to Wall Street and turned into mortgage-backed securities by Wall Street, the market peaked over $700 billion in 2006, and it hasn't been above $60 billion since. It just hasn't come back. So if it weren't for the presence of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, we probably wouldn't have a mortgage market.
Well, but what about, so this is another one of these double-edged swords. If not for the presence of Fannie and Freddie, we wouldn't have a mortgage market, you suggest. But are we repeating some of the mistakes via Fannie and Freddie that were made in the run-up to the 2008?
Well, possibly. I think Fannie and Freddie's book, their book of business, the credit that they've taken on has been pristine so far. So it's not as if they're guaranteeing loans made to people who are going to have trouble paying them back. The book is pristine. So we're not there yet in terms of that kind of problem. To me, the bigger issue is just that the whole market is such a mess. So the government has said, we want private capital back in the mortgage market. We don't want Fannie and Freddie. But then they've done everything they can at the same time via the fines they've had the big banks pay, via all these new regulations around the mortgage market to make the big banks say, we don't really want anything to do with this market, particularly, I mean, for our really high-end customers, sure. But for anybody less than that, we don't really want anything to do with this market. So the incoherence in the government policy is also, I think, really, really problematic. It just leaves us with a really uncertain structure for the mortgage market because the government keeps saying we want to kill Fannie and Freddie, we don't want them around, but yet they've discouraged private capital from coming back in, and they have no plan for what to do with Fannie and Freddie, which still sit in this state called conservatorship, where they're basically owned and run by the U.S. government 8 years after the financial crisis. So the whole thing is just a mess.
I want to turn you into literary/movie critic for a minute because this is a bit of an esoteric topic for many people, particularly those not in the financial services space. And a lot of the kind of popular narrative that people have in their mind, frankly, comes from the book by Michael Lewis that was turned into a movie, The Big Short. Yep. And I wonder if you would comment on what, if anything, you think The Big Short left out or mischaracterized.
Well, I think The Big Short's really good, so I was surprised. I liked the book, but I didn't expect that it could be turned into a movie successfully, and much to my surprise, I was dragged to it by friends, and I actually thought it was really good. And so I don't think this is so much a criticism of the movie because you can't cover everything, but people would say, and there's some truth to this, that it leaves the government off the hook for the government's role in encouraging home ownership. And I think that's fair. And I don't think, you and I have talked about this before, I don't think it was home ownership that caused the financial crisis. It was people using their homes as credit cards. And unfortunately, our housing policy doesn't distinguish between the two, between a mortgage you take out to buy a home and a mortgage you take out to get yourself some spending money. So that to me is yet another problem with how our mortgage market is structured. But because it was politically incorrect to challenge anything involving home ownership, it was very difficult for somebody in the run-up to the financial crisis to say, no, whoa, we need to change things, because the answer back would have been, you can't hurt home ownership. And so some people call it the housing industrial complex, this sort of alliance of all these powerful interests that make a lot of money off the U.S. housing market and want things to be the way they want them, which isn't necessarily the way that's best for all of us.
She is Bethany McLean. She's a contributing editor at Vanity Fair. She's also the author of the book Shaky Ground, The Strange Saga of the U.S. Mortgage Giants, which I recommend. And you can get an extended conversation on this topic between me and Bethany McLean at upstream-ideas.com on our Against the Current series. Bethany, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day, you guys.
Thanks. And she joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
A great place to eat naked. Oh, yeah. Coming to a town near you. But first, here's your forecast. Areas of patchy fog this morning, otherwise breezy, cooler, a high of 53. Your weekend looks great. Saturday for the Wrigleyville run, it's going to be mostly sunny, warmer, a high of 63. And on Sunday for the Ravenswood run, mostly cloudy, a lot warmer, a high near 80 degrees. Jim Talamonte, where are the hot spots?
Well, Amy, driving fully clothed, hopefully right now, things aren't too bad in general. The Edens, just 22 minutes either way between Lake Hook and Montrose to Kennedy, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. Inbound Eisenhower, 45 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound, believe it or not, 29. That's delay-free. Inbound Stevenson, despite a couple of earlier crashes, it's holding at 45 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37. Ryan is 26 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, clear. Lakeshore Drive, so far so good. Northbound Tri-State, little sluggish between Archer and Ogden and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway, it's heavy. Barrington to Roselle. Reagan Tollway from Farnsworth to Wiola and 53 to 355. Northwest Indiana, the only issue now is on the Indiana Toll Road. You have those construction delays in both directions in Porter and LaPorte counties. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Earnings from some bellwethers disappoint, and some firms that paid for Clinton speeches have U.S. government interests. Those stories next.
This report is brought to you by Kaplan University School of Business and Information Technology. Tax filing season is also tax fraud season. The Government Accountability Office reported the IRS paid out $5.8 billion in fraudulent tax refunds in 2013, with that number expected to triple this year. For the 60% of Americans who rely on tax professionals, the fight against fraud starts with a practitioner ready to delve in deep. This is why Kaplan University School of Business and IT offers advanced accounting degrees practitioners need to support their role as a trusted advisor. According to Kaplan accounting professor Monica Hubler, a tax preparer who's who's too quiet during the process should raise a red flag with clients.
Being a CPA is not just about crunching numbers. It's about protecting your clients by asking the hard questions. Professionals committed to being this first line of defense against tax fraud recognize the value of further developing their knowledge and skill base to know the right questions to ask and when.
For more, visit programs at kaplanuniversity.edu.
Earnings from Google's parent, Alphabet, disappointing Wall Street. Earnings released after the bell yesterday. First quarter adjusted profit lower than Wall Street targets. In addition, cost per clicks, which is the average price of online ads, down 9%. Microsoft's quarterly earnings also disappointing, below what Wall Street had targeted, and Starbucks' global sales growth short of targets. It appears most groups that paid for speeches by presidential candidate Hillary Clinton had lobbied federal agencies, and the Associated Press Review finds more than a third are government contractors, and their interests would follow Clinton to the White House if she were to win in November. The Purchasing Managers Manufacturing Index, or PMI, for April released today, and we'll see how investors react to the Purchasing Managers Manufacturing Index, or PMI, for the month of April today. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Because you listen to this show, you know that hundreds of small businesses around Chicagoland trust their IT needs to our good friends over at Turnkey IT. So when I needed some help with my personal home computer, and boy, did I need some help, I picked up the phone and called David, the president of Turnkey IT. Without hesitation, David agreed to help, and I had the chance to experience firsthand what Turnkey IT service is all about. When the technician from Turnkey IT arrived, he was early, friendly, professional. He transferred all the data from my old PC to my new PC and configured it exactly for my needs. It really was a turnkey solution. Turnkey IT wants to give all the business owners listening to AM 560 this great opportunity, so listen up. Turnkey IT is offering a free network checkup. So even if you already have an IT guy, this free checkup will help you deal with your own IT guy better. And here's my promise to you. Whatever IT provider you have now, I guarantee you'll like Turnkey IT better. So visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
AM 560, The Answer.
Your favorite restaurant, a smashing Broadway play, the most talented doctor. There are many things in life that'll make you go the extra distance. So why not take extra time when it comes to your dental health? That's why Artistic Dentistry in Homer Glen should be your first and only call at 708-301-6060. Artistic Dentistry is Destination Dentistry. Dr. Akrush and his team see patients from as far as the northern suburbs to northwest Indiana. And they're so confident you'll receive the smile you want, they'll pay for your gas. That's right. All new patients receive a $25 gas card and a free Zoom take-home whitening kit during their first visit. With a 5-star rating from more than 300 online reviewers, you'll see why Artistic Dentistry can be Destination Dentistry for you and your family. Schedule now at 708-301-6060 or online at artisticdentistry-pc.com. Must mention this ad for gas card while supplies last.
Did you know that prostate cancer is the second largest cancer killer of men? Approximately 30,000 men will die this year from prostate cancer. That's 82 men every day. I'm Dr. Richard Harris from UroPartners. If you need urological care, our integrated practice of more than 60 experienced urological specialists, pathologists, and radiation oncologists are here to help. UroPartners provides state-of-the-art urological care at multiple locations throughout the Chicagoland area. We pride ourselves on communicating with and educating our patients about their urological conditions and treatment options. UroPartners offers state-of-the-art care in robotic surgery, radiation therapy, impotency, infertility, kidney stone disease, incontinence, and vasectomy services. Come to the experts. Visit Europartners.com for a Europartners physician near you. That's Europartners.com. Or call 630-UROLOGY to set up an appointment today.
Honey, please pass me my cocktail.
Here you go, babe. Sunset sure is pretty after a long day at the beach.
I could get used to living life in swimwear.
We can start booking our next trip tomorrow while sitting around at the pool.
You've been pretty lucky that you've been able to spend some quality time in the sun. Something that you may not be so lucky with is the fact that 1 in 5 people will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. At Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, they know that most people are unaware of the effects that a lifetime of sun can have on their skin. If you've been sunburned in your lifetime, it's time to have your skin checked out. Call Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates at 855-560-SKIN. or visit skinhealthpros.com. The doctors at Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates have your skin health covered. Skin cancer kills, so today's the day to get your skin checked. Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, 855-560-SKIN. or visit skinhealthpros.com. Healthy skin, healthy body, healthy, happy you.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
As well as Trump well-positioned for victory in Pennsylvania on Tuesday, we'll ask a Philadelphia Inquirer columnist at 7:07.
And Bernie Sanders supporters describe Hillary with one word. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Mayor Emanuel announces changes to the Chicago Police Department. A massive fire destroys a furniture warehouse in Woodridge. Cubs' Jake Arrieta throws a no-hitter. And there's fog out there this morning. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. There's a lot of purple splashed around the country today in Prince's honor. San Francisco's City Hall, the New Orleans Superdome, New York's Madison Square Garden, all lit up.
Purple rain, purple rain.
As fans mourn his death there in Kentucky and Minneapolis. There was an all-night dance party, people laying flowers in tribute. Fox's Michelle Polino has more on the music legend's death live.
Dave, there are still many questions that remain surrounding the musical superstar's death. Prince was found in an elevator unconscious and was pronounced dead at 10:07. His cause of death is under investigation. There will be an autopsy today. The singer was battling flu-like symptoms recently. Beyonce songwriter Makeba Riddick talks about his legacy.
A consummate musician, songwriter. I mean, he's paved the way for so many artists and opened the door for so many songwriters get in there and just create.
Even President Obama gave a shout out to the musical genius who did it all. Dave.
Michelle, President Obama is about to have lunch with the Queen. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, the President lunching with Queen Elizabeth II the day after she celebrated her 90th birthday. The President and the First Lady just flew into Windsor Castle by helicopter, greeted by the Queen and Prince Philip, with Philip then driving the four of them to the castle entrance. Later, the President expected to urge Britons to vote against quitting the European Union when a referendum is held here in 2 months. His intervention welcomed by supporters. Critics say it's meddling. Dave?
Simon, there's a new government report ranking suicide as America's 10th leading cause of death. Middle-aged white people now account for 1/3 of those suicides. Counselors at a Wilmington, Delaware high school this morning, the day after a fight broke out in a girl's bathroom, leaving a 16-year-old dead.
The children are out of control.
That's Amy Joyner Francis' grieving father. Police are questioning several girls about the deadly fight. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 48 degrees. Winds north at 6. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Gun violence continues to surge in the city of Chicago. There have already been 1,000 people shot this year. Shootings are happening at a rate that has not been seen since the 1990s. Authorities are trying to figure out what continues to light a massive blaze at a furniture warehouse in Woodridge. Fire began yesterday at the Room Place Harlem Furniture Warehouse on International Parkway. Dozens of employees were able to escape the large facility unharmed. At its peak, more than 100 firefighters are battling the flames, and mop-up operations continue. Mayor Rahm Emanuel is proposing changes to the way police-involved shootings and misconduct are investigating, but is stopping short of a task force recommendation to abolish the agency that handles those investigations. A temporary funding fix for financially struggling Illinois public colleges and universities is in limbo this morning because lawmakers delayed a vote on a rare bipartisan measure in Springfield that would have sent them $600 million. Republican House Leader Jim Durkin telling lawmakers the governor will sign that bill if it gets to him. County Commissioner Richard Boykin is proposing that he and fellow county board members cut their own pay to help young people find jobs. Under Boykin's ordinance, salaries of each county commissioner and board president, Tony Preckwinkle, will drop by $10,000 annually. The money would fund a jobs program for youths. The family of a man who died after he was attacked and run over outside a downtown 7-Eleven is suing the convenience store. Surveillance video released this week shows Marquise Gaines beaten and robbed after leaving the store in February. Attorney Chris Hurley argues the company is liable in the death of his client.
It's the duty of 7-Eleven Corporation to provide competent people to protect their stores and their customers because they know that criminals target these stores.
Chicago police say detectives continue their investigation. A Chicago alderman is recovering after he was attacked outside his near West Side office. A man punched Walter Burnett in the face last night near Western and Madison. Burnett suffered a cut but declined medical treatment. Patrick Kane scores on a backhander early in the second OT, and the Blackhawks avoid a first-round elimination with a 4-3 win over the Blues early this morning. Jake Arrieta and the Cubs, well, they helped to each other throw a no-no. Arrieta's second no-hitter in a span of 11 regular season starts, and they shut down the Reds 16-0 last night.
The timing was off from start to finish. I was just able to lock it in big situations to force some contact and, pile up some outs pretty quickly.
Angels earn a split of their series with the White Sox with a 3-2 win yesterday. The news service of Napa Auto Parts this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Get VP ready-to-use small engine fuel for just $4.99. The perfect premix fuel for all your lawn and garden equipment. That's Napa know-how while supplies last. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity warns of a third-party challenge.
The Washington Post today is claiming that a group of, quote, conservative leaders got together this morning to plot a third-party challenge if Donald Trump gets the nomination. I would argue, and I'm saying this respectfully, this is a death wish. This is a plan to help elect Hillary. This is a circular firing squad.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you wanted to purchase a home after filing bankruptcy or when your home was foreclosed, you called me and I helped you. When you tried to purchase a home you couldn't afford, you called me and I advised you to purchase a less expensive home. If you want to talk with me about a mortgage, please give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email david@perldavid.com. That's david@perldavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
So, Dave, would you say your lawn is army green or hunter green?
I'd say more shamrock green.
Wow, greenest green I've ever seen.
Thanks to new Ironite from Pennington. It's loaded with iron and turned my yellow lawn to green. Fast. It's a green machine.
I'm jealous, but that means more mowing.
No way. Ironite greens without the growth surge other fertilizers cause, so I relax and enjoy the green.
Well, I'm turning green with envy.
Better to turn green with Ironite.
New Ironite from Pennington. Turn your yellow lawn greener than green without extra mowing.
Life can be unpredictable. That's why you should take control of your family's future now with an estate plan bundle from LegalZoom. Not sure whether you need a last will or a living trust? LegalZoom's network of independent attorneys in 48 states can help you decide which one's right for you without billing by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. Plus, updating your estate plan as your family and assets grow couldn't be easier. Enjoy your life. Use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
In our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Despite that early morning fog, most flights at Chicago's airports are on time this morning. Eden's Expressway is 22 minutes either way between Lake Cook and the Junction. The Kennedy, 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown up on 27. Inbound Eisenhower, the exit to North Avenue is closed due to a crash right there where Lake Avenue meets the Ike and the Tri-State. The Eisenhower runs 49 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 36 from Manheim, outbound 34 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown, I-57, Bishop Ford. Slight delays now approaching the verge. Northbound Tri-State slow Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Reagan Tollway slow 53 to 355. There's a pallet scattered across the roadway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, areas of fog for the morning, otherwise breezy and cooler. Clouds break for some sun with a high 53. Tonight, mainly clear with a low 38. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny and warmer with a high of 63. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
46 right now at O'Hare, 47 along the lakefront. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
What's the one word you would use to describe Hillary Clinton?
Treacherous.
So if Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses.
That is correct.
And Donald on television this morning said, gosh, he thought that men should be able to go into the girls' bathroom if they want to. Now, let me ask you, have we gone stark raving nuts?
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Amy, we've got 5 primaries on Tuesday.
We need to come up with a name like Northeast Super Tuesday. Man, we got to come up with something. I mean, you got Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island. Think of something. You're creative.
Tuesday is Connecticut, Rhode Island, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania primary day. How's that? It's kind of catchy.
Super
It's
Tuesday
pithy.
and Super Tuesday the second. This, I don't know.
Well, there's a couple of questions here, right? One is on the Republican side in particular, can Trump continue to meet expectations and operate within a narrow margin of error to win Pennsylvania, where the RCP average has him up 20 points over Cruz and Kasich in that order, although some recent polls have it closing a bit. Can he continue and build momentum coming out of Tuesday, not just in Pennsylvania, but the other states, but Pennsylvania is the big delegate-rich state. And if it is Trump and Hillary, is Pennsylvania truly in play in the general election for the first time in forever? Well, think about as you think about that question, listen to what Bernie supporters had to say when asked the question by a reporter for Fox and Friends. Mm-hmm. Sum up Hillary Clinton in one word.
What's the one word you would use to describe Hillary Clinton?
Treacherous.
Hillary Clinton? She said it, opportunist.
Untrustworthy.
Scary. What's your one word to describe Hillary Clinton?
Avoidable?
I don't want to use the word crook, but
when I was born, I grew up.
Untruthful.
The ordinary.
What about you?
Traditional.
Disconnected.
What about you?
Establishment.
What's the one word you would use to describe Hillary Clinton?
Of the United States of America.
Dishonest. Oh, she's a liar. Opulence. That's the one word.
Choke. Lies.
That's two. You got one more?
Disgrace. Stale.
A fraud.
Well,
Which one did you like best?
There's so many to choose from, but they all drive the same caricature of Hillary Clinton. It's going to be a difficult one for her to walk away from in a general election. The question that she has, and it's a question Trump has as well as a potential nominee, is can she keep those people that are excited to participate because they're supporting Bernie Sanders? Can she keep them in the fold for him? Because the excitement on the Republican side in terms of increased participation has largely been the result of Trump's candidacy.
Right.
Very different. And so the question is, does it put a state like Pennsylvania in play, truly in play, not wistfully in play, as Republicans have wistfully hoped Pennsylvania would be in play the last several cycles, but truly in play? Well, why don't we get the answer to that question by talking to somebody who knows Pennsylvania very well. He is a political columnist for the Philadelphia Inquirer. He is John Baer, and he joins us now. John, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys. Love the Windy City. Are you guys pitching a shutout and no hitter today?
I don't know. I don't think Jake Arrieta is going to pitch every game for the Cubs.
If only he could.
Well, I meant you two on the radio this morning.
I see. We're inspired.
You're always doing that.
We're inspired by Arrieta as well as by the Blackhawks comeback victory last
night.
night.
You should see Dan's batting average.
Yeah,
and my ERA.
And listen, Amy, the East Coast press has already had a name for the 5 primaries.
Okay, what is it?
They're calling it, I'm not crazy about it, but they're calling it the Acela primary.
Oh,
the Acela primary. That's not bad.
That's good.
Oh, that's
I'm
not
writing
bad.
that down, John.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but it's something.
Did Joe Biden come up with that? Or?
Well, he's certainly on it. I don't know if he came up with it.
Well, so let's start with a question of, let's just fast forward and then we'll rewind back to the primary. But fast forward to the general election. What's your take on a Trump versus Hillary matchup in a general election as it pertains to the possibility that Pennsylvania would be in play?
With the caveat that you never know what happens in a general election. You never know if Trump is going to change and how great and how much. I would say Pennsylvania is going to remain a blue state. I mean, Pennsylvania has been extremely good to the Clintons, voted twice for the husband, voted for her in 2008 over Obama. She has very strong familial ties to the northeastern part of the state. She has an incredibly strong base in the southeastern part of the state, where about a third of the state vote lives. So, barring any unforeseens, I'd have to say that it looks good for Hillary in the fall.
So her father was born and raised in Scranton, Pennsylvania? Or
well, she vacationed there. I mean, she's from your neck of the woods, as you know, but, I mean, she's been there a lot. She's there today. She has always returned, to that place, the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, in the old coal regions up in the northeastern part of the state. So, I mean, she's beloved in the African American community in Philadelphia, which is look, Pennsylvania votes Republican in the off years. The Republican legislature consistently is House and Senate. We've got Senator Toomey, a Republican. But in the presidential years, the African American community in Philadelphia turns out in big numbers. Philadelphia doesn't care about anything except presidential and mayoral races. And there's such a big block of votes there, and between them and Pittsburgh and her strength in the Northeast, makes it very tough for Trump or any Republican to come in. Again, depending upon how he conducts his general election campaign and whatever happens to her email stuff.
Well, so now let's rewind back to the primary on the Republican side. It's interesting in Pennsylvania. Trump is getting some inside help. That's not something you can say in a lot of states. He's got 2 congressmen, Tom Marino and Lou Barletta, that are working behind the scenes to help Trump get supporters elected as delegates. And Representative Barletta told The Hill that not only is the Trump campaign caught up, they're ahead right now, very comfortable. They've made a first-class organization in Pennsylvania for next Tuesday, which has been the criticism of Trump up to this point in terms of political infrastructure. Is that an assessment you concur with?
Dan, he's partially right. I mean, the Trump campaign was always ahead in Pennsylvania. They are, as you mentioned earlier, up double digits still in this state, even though John Kasich was born here. But the problem the Trump campaign has is this. Pennsylvania is the only big state with the largest number of unbound delegates. If Trump wins here on Tuesday, and everybody assumes, including myself, that he will, he'll come away not with the 71 delegates that the state's taking to the convention. He'll come away with 17 delegates. The other 54, no other state has this, are unbound. They can vote for anybody, anytime during the convention. So, and that's a potential problem. If he does not get the magic number going into Cleveland, then Pennsylvania could be a major player in settling who's the nominee.
How many delegates do you think John Kasich's going to get then?
Well, he was at our editorial board yesterday, and I asked him that question, and he oddly said, "I don't run my campaign." And then, yeah, I mean, that's exactly the quote that he said.
That's a euphemistic way to say zero.
Yeah, I know. That's the first thought that crossed my mind. But he said, he has no idea. And the problem is, I mean, nobody does, because those delegates, all of our delegates on the Republican side will appear on the ballot with nobody's name but theirs. So voters will have no way of knowing unless they know the person or the person has contacted them or they contacted the person. Now, a lot of people are saying, look, I'm going to be supportive of whoever wins my congressional district, or I'm going to be supportive of whoever wins the state. But there's no way to know, and you don't let people change their mind. So I suspect Kasich will pick up a couple of delegates in the western part of the state, but his presence here has been surprising for the lack of it. This is a state that should be warmer to him than he's allowed it to become.
I'll tell you what, it's fascinating what you just described in terms of so people understand how Pennsylvania works here. And if Trump comes up 40 delegates short or something like this, less than 54, the pressure that will be on those uncommitted delegates in Pennsylvania by the Republican Party nationally, because from the polling that I've seen, 65, 70, 75% of Republicans, Republican primary voters, say whoever has the most delegates, even if it's not the majority, should be the nominee. So there's going to be immense pressure on those uncommitted delegates from Pennsylvania.
There's no question. I'm doing everything in my power to make sure I'm in the same hotel with the Pennsylvania delegation in Cleveland, because if it comes to that, Dan, you're absolutely right. That's going to be a total buffet of options for these guys. And I imagine we're probably setting up some free rides on Air Trump One right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Come and see my 757.
Yeah, perhaps have lunch with Melania.
Yeah.
Why don't you?
Want to hold the grandbaby? Sure.
We're going to be in Cleveland in July as well, so save some space in that room for us to infiltrate and monitor those delegates as well. We'd appreciate it.
Will do.
All right, he is John Beyer, political columnist for the Philadelphia Inquirer. John, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Morning fog, patches of morning fog. That sounds like a band, doesn't it? Or like a children's book, Patches of Morning Fog.
I think they opened for Moody Blues at Poplar Creek in 87.
We could have partly sunny skies by this afternoon. It will be breezy. Cooler than we're used to. You're going to need to grab a jacket. A high today of 53 degrees. And your weekend looks spectacular for the Wrigleyville Run, kicking off at 8 a.m. tomorrow. If you live around Wrigley, be careful because your car will be towed. It's going to be mostly sunny, warmer than today, a high of 63 degrees. And for the Ravenswood Run on Sunday, which benefits the All Saints Church Pantry, who goes there? I do. It'll be mostly cloudy and warmer, a high near 80 degrees. Now let's get your travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thank you, Amy and Dan. And through that fog in Elmhurst, got a crash which has Lake Street closed in both directions just east of 290. And because of that, the exit ramp from inbound Eisenhower 290 to North Avenue was closed with that crash right there. The Edens, 22 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Kennedy, 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, up and now 34. The Eisenhower has a travel time of 49 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, up on 37. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, up on 38. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Lakeshore Drive has a northbound delay from around Soldier Field to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State, slow Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis, Ogden to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow from before Roselle to 53, and Lee to Manheim. Veterans Memorial, little tight Maple to the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Just got a text message from my friend Jason Hurst. Hey, Amy, hope all is well. I want to know, do you really use a MyPillow, and what do you think of it? Well, I answered him back. I can't sleep without it, and I do bring it with me on vacation. That's how much I love MyPillow. It conforms to my neck and back. It helps if you have chronic problems with back pain, if you have problems with snoring, if you have allergies. You can throw it in the washer and dryer, and you're good to go that very night. You will sleep better. We guarantee it. If not, there's a 60-day full money-back guarantee, so you can get your money back. A 10-year warranty on that bad boy. It's American-made. It's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. And with Mother and Father's Day right around the corner, buy one for mom or dad and keep one for yourself, because the 2-for-1 offer is still available. So here's what you do. Go to mypillow.com, type Amy in the promo code, 2 pillows for the price of one, or call the 800 number, 800-489-0201, 800-489-0201, or online at mypillow.com, promo code Amy.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees?
See, I'm not one of these people who's worried about everything. You got people like this around you. Country's full of them now. People walking around all day long, every minute of the day, worried about everything.
Hi, it's Tom.
Worried about the air, worried about the water, worried about the soil. Worried about insecticides, pesticides, food additives, carcinogens. Worried about radon gas, worried about asbestos. Worried about saving endangered species. Let me tell you about endangered species, all right? Saving endangered species is just one more arrogant attempt by humans to control nature. It's arrogant meddling. It's what got us in trouble in the first place. Doesn't anybody understand? We're so self-important. So self-important. Everybody's going to save something now. Save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those snails.
I have struggled.
And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet.
Really.
What? Are these f***ing people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't even know how to take care of ourselves. I'm tired of Earth Day. I'm tired of these self-righteous environmentalists, these white bourgeois liberals who think the only thing wrong with this country is there aren't enough bicycle paths.
My appointment with the gastroenterologist. You know, your products have made my life. They have improved.
The planet has been through a lot worse than us. Been through all kinds of things worse than us. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, continental drift, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles, hundreds of thousands of years of bombardment by comets and asteroids and meteors, worldwide floods, tidal waves, worldwide fires, erosion, cosmic rays, recurring ice ages, and we think some plastic bags and some aluminum cans are going to make a difference?
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now, and make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, it's Earth Day. Happy Earth Day. What are you doing for Earth Day? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 646-368, turnkey.pro, text line, Amy. What are you doing for Earth Day?
I don't know. What are you doing for Earth Day? And did you get my Happy Earth Day card on your desk?
I did. Thank you for the homemade card. It was very thoughtful. What was that? What material was that made out of?
It was made out of recycled toilet paper.
You're supposed to say love.
Oh, it was made out of love.
Love from Mother Gaia.
I know you like Arbor Day better than Earth Day, but today is Earth Day, and it must be celebrated. So I want from you the paper that you have on your desk, because I recycle paper. And I actually made it so that we have a recycling bin in this office. So that I can. Well, I used to go down to the lobby and go into the big dumpster or the big recycling bin and put the paper there.
Yeah. Thanks for saving the planet. I'm going to cede my time to George Carlin on the topic of the over-officious Earth Day types.
I'm tired of Earth Day. I'm tired of these self-righteous environmentalists, these white bourgeois liberals who think the only thing wrong with this country is there aren't enough bicycle paths. People trying to make the world safe for their Volvos. We're so self-important. So self-important. Everybody's going to save something now. Save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those snails. And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't even know how to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to care for one another. We're going to save the planet? I'm getting tired of that.
God, I miss George Carlin. But, and we don't have time to get into it, but I do want to direct people's attention to an excellent piece. It's a bit of a read.
Okay.
But the smug style in American liberalism, it's perfect for Earth Day. And it's not just, there's not necessarily new ground being broken here, but the author of this piece, Emmett Renson, is a editor at Vox.com, which is a left-leaning site. Not left-leaning, it's left. It's a left site. He writes, there's a smug style in American liberalism. It's been growing these past decades. It's a way of conducting politics predicated on the belief that American life is not divided by moral difference or policy divergence, not really, but by the failure of half the country to know what's good for them. This is worth checking out. Vox.com, the smug style of American liberalism.
And they want you, 3 things Rahm Emanuel wants you to do today, because I know you listened to what he said.
Oh, please.
Wants you to ride a Divvy bike for free. They're offering him free rides today. Clean up Chicago's parks and beaches, and they want you to recycle, Dan.
I will do none of those things in
I want to see you on
the
a Divvy
spirit
bike.
and to honor on this Earth Day, George Carlin.
The planet has been through a lot worse than us. Been through all kinds of things worse than us. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, continental drift, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles, hundreds of thousands of years of bombardment by comets and asteroids and meteors, worldwide floods, tidal waves, worldwide fires, erosion, cosmic rays, recurring ice ages, and we think some plastic bags and some aluminum cans are going to make a difference?
WWAGD, what would Al Gore do?
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today, CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Who would win a cage match between Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama? Those and other queries about First Ladies will be put to Kate Brower, the author of the book First Woman, about America's First Ladies at 7:37.
And coming to a store near you, Dan, this might be perfect for you. A robotic girlfriend who's quite subservient.
Finally.
You'll hear what she has to say coming up. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
47 degrees, fog and clouds this morning. Musical icon Prince is dead at the age of 57. Michael Holtz, who worked at Prince's Paisley Park Studios in Minneapolis, says he couldn't believe that his former employer passed away at the studios.
He came out, he looked like he was in good spirits, and he said, you know, when you hear news, give it a couple days before you waste any prayers. And he looked great. You know, we're all like, he's on the upswing.
Prince racked up 7 Grammys over the course of his career. In 1985, he won an Oscar for Best Original Score for songs for the movie Purple Rain. Mexican oil company Pemex says the death toll from an explosion that tore through a petrochemical plant on the country's southern Gulf Coast is now 24. Pemex also says 19 remain hospitalized in critical condition. The FBI director says the Bureau paid more to unlock that iPhone of one of the San Bernardino shooters than he'll make in his remaining time on the job. With just over 7 years left on his 10-year term, FBI Director James Comey will bank about $1.3 million. Comey says it was worth it. There will not be any changes to the rules on how a GOP presidential nominee is selected for now. The Rules Committee for the RNC rejected a controversial rules change during meetings in Florida.
Nays have it. The motion's defeated. Meeting's adjourned.
The issue could come up again at July's GOP convention in Cleveland. A rules change could make it easier for a new GOP presidential challenger to emerge at the last minute. Authorities are still trying to figure out what caused a massive fire at a furniture warehouse in Woodridge. The blaze began yesterday at the Harlem Furniture Room Place warehouse on International Parkway. The world's biggest heavy equipment machinery maker is digging a big earnings hole. Caterpillar reports its first quarter profit at $494 million, less than a third of last year's quarterly earnings for the Peoria-based big equipment maker. Chicago sports, Patrick Kane, a backhander in the second overtime, pushes the Blackhawks to a win over the Blues, 4-3, and they avoid elimination in that first-round series. Jake Arrieta, a no-hitter in the Cubs' rout of the Reds, 16-0. Jared Weaver and the Angels beat back the White Sox 3-2 to earn a split in that four-game set. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts this month at participating Napa Auto stores. Buy a Napa 5-gallon bucket for $3.99 and get 20% off any items you can fit in. Plus, they'll donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund for every bucket sold. That's Napa know-how. Minimum 3 items. Some exclusions may apply. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager restates his position on Donald Trump.
I am as opposed to Donald Trump winning the nomination as I can be because I am a conservative. I don't know any conservative positions that he holds. Having said that, I would still vote for him because between this insufferable Republican and the insufferable Democrat, I will take the insufferable Republican.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
You're faced with the biggest decision of the day, lunch. Head to B-Dubs, where their fast break lunch menu has mouth-watering specials Monday through Friday. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Great talent is the driving force behind your successful business. If you don't have the right people in key roles, then you have talent gaps. IMC Solutions identifies those gaps and delivers expertise in recruiting the right talent to fill them, leaving you free to succeed.
Hi, I'm Linda Nichols, founder of IMC Solutions. We're a niche recruiting and staffing firm that specializes in placing human resources and sales professionals. We've created programs that are just right for your small to medium-sized business because we know that you're looking for expertise, but are also looking at the bottom line expenses to your company. You can take advantage of recruiting services that big companies get, but you don't have to pay the big fees. Our programs and solutions are affordable and bring you the people you need.
IMC Solutions understands the unique challenges of your business, making the tough job of hiring easy. Get started on finding your next hire today at imcsolutions.com or call Linda Nichols at 630-637-6200.
You don't need a real estate agent with gimmicks. You need the selling power that only Ed Lukasik Jr. can give you.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know how to maximize the sale of your home.
Ed is listed in the top 30 RE/MAX agents nationwide.
When I list a home for you, I only represent you, not the buyer. I am fighting for your highest home value.
Ed Lukasik Jr., the #1 RE/MAX agent in Illinois for most closed listings.
I use the latest online and mobile technologies to market your home and drive buyer activity to my listings. That equals maximum exposure for my sellers.
Ed closed 260 homes last year. That's a home sold every 1.5 days.
I am an agent that has your best interests at heart. It's not about a quick sale. It's about negotiating to maximize every dollar so you get the highest value for your home.
Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454, 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
7:37 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens is 22 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy holding at about 27 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound it's 34 minutes. The Eisenhower is at the exit to North Avenue closed due to a crash just off the expressway, and then it's 49 minutes from Thorndale to downtown. How about 37? Stevenson, 46 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. How about 38? Ryan, it's 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. North on Tri-State slow from the 83rd Street toll to the Hinsdale Oasis. Just crash on the right shoulder from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Traffic service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast? If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. We're here for LifeLock. Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to lifelock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Foggy this morning, breezy and cooler. Clouds will break for some sunshine this afternoon, a high of 53. Right now, the closer you get to the lakefront, the colder it gets. It's 43 along the lakefront right now, 45 at O'Hare, and 51 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, Amy, America does have a fascination with first ladies.
You think?
And maybe no more so than Jackie Kennedy because of Camelot and all the imagery around the Kennedy administration.
So beautifully dressed, too, and always just looked picture perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot about it's not just the particular policy initiatives they take up and how that helps to define not only them, but the administration they're a part of. But also fashion, culture. It's all of those things.
And I'm going to say something really catty here, but the first time that the first family went to Martha's Vineyard, Michelle Obama got off Air Force One, and she looked like a wreck. And I thought, oh, my gosh, somebody's got to get to her, and she never dressed that way ever again. I mean, she had cut-off shorts on. It was not very first lady-like. Have to hop. I mean, it was just not good.
Well, this is why Hillary Clinton can't win in 2016 because
Bill. I mean,
who wants to see Bill in cutoff shorts? we went through that national nightmare for 8 years with those short running shorts he used to wear.
Oh yeah, that's
and those thick, creamy thighs that the nation had to endure. Nobody wants to see that again.
Okay.
Well, on a serious note, Amy, if we could, please.
Well, it was bad.
There is a new book from Kate Anderson Brower called First Women. Kate Brower is a Bloomberg News reporter. She's covered the White House for Bloomberg News and Business Week, I should say, as part of the White House press corps. She's the best-selling author on this topic as well. Previous book, The Residents Inside the Private World of the White House. And she joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us, Kate Anderson Brower. We appreciate it.
Hi, thanks for having me. That was definitely a funny image about Bill Clinton stepping off Air Force One and cut off shorts. Potentially,
there is nothing funny about that. That is so disturbing. It's difficult to know where to begin. But why did you choose? This is interesting. Your book, you focused on 10 of the first ladies, from Jackie Kennedy to the present, Michelle Obama. Why those 10 first ladies to the exclusion of the others?
Well, because I wanted to get into their relationships with each other, so I wanted to do kind of the flip side of the President's Club. You know, is there a sorority of first ladies, like there's a fraternity of presidents, and a sisterhood among these women? And so it was just a more kind of, it made more sense to start with Jackie, especially because when she came into the White House, her transition was very difficult. Mamie Eisenhower did not like the Kennedys. You know, we're going from a Republican to a Democratic administration, and there was this very strange kind of encounter that they had when Jackie first went for her White House tour, and she had just had a C-section, and she had requested a wheelchair, and Mamie Eisenhower never told her about the wheelchair. So after this hour-and-a-half tour of the White House, she came out pale and exhausted, and then later on she said, you know, after they were in the White House, she said, where was my wheelchair? She asked the chief usher, and he said, I thought she told you about it. And Jackie said, I was too afraid of Mamie Eisenhower to ask.
Wow.
So, you know, there are these very kind of human encounters between these women, and that's what I wanted to delve into to find out what they're really like.
And after JFK was shot, how was the transition for Jacqueline Kennedy when she handed over the White House to Lady Bird Johnson?
Well, it was just very difficult. I interviewed more than 200 people for this book, including the Johnson's daughter, Lucy, and and their social secretary, who is still around, is incredible. And she told me about how difficult that transition was. And, you know, here they were coming into a White House draped in black. It was in mourning. And Lady Bird Johnson was so aware of how the Kennedy staff felt about the Johnsons. They did not like them. That she actually had loaves of homemade bread made, and she wheeled them around the West Wing offices and handed them out to all the staffers and said, please stay with us, you know, please support us. So they understood how difficult it was going to be to win these staffers over. But in the book, I have a whole chapter on motherhood, and I was really touched to read about Jackie and how much she really loved playing with her children. You know, she would take Caroline on the South Lawn, and they would run around, and she would say, let's go kiss the wind. I mean, very sweet things. You don't think about Jackie Kennedy as a mother in that kind of way when no one's watching, hair not done up, you know, just she would wear pants, which was kind of controversial back then. And I really like looking at that side of these women.
Now, what about the relationship between Laura Bush and Michelle Obama and that transition?
That's a really good relationship. And again, you see that these Republicans and Democrats can be friends. Sometimes it's easier for them to be friends than it is for people within the same party because they don't go through these bitter primaries like what we're seeing now. So Laura and Michelle are close. Laura Bush has defended Michelle publicly when Michelle Obama got in trouble for saying, you know, she was proud of her country for the first time. Laura Bush came out on the record, said, I'm sure that Michelle Obama didn't mean that. So they're close because they're very similar personalities. You know, neither of them is terribly political, whereas someone like Hillary Clinton is just so different from all these other women and so different from Michelle Obama.
Well, is there a sorority among the first ladies? I mean, when Nancy Reagan died, they all gathered and were at her funeral.
Yeah, I mean there is it's interesting. Barbara Bush wasn't at her funeral, and there was a bit of they had a very difficult relationship, Barbara Bush and Nancy Reagan. I mean, for 8 years, Barbara Bush was the wife of Reagan's vice president, and they rarely were ever invited to the residence. She really had no idea what the residence looked like, you know, the second and third floors of the White House. So there was animosity between them, but there were also lifelong friendships. You know, Lady Bird Johnson and Betty Ford were so close that Lady Bird kept a framed photo of Betty Ford on her bedside table until she died. So they really love each other, and they understand how hard it is to be a wife and a mother and a political advisor in the spotlight. So there's no one else in the world who knows what this is like aside from these women.
You invoked Hillary Clinton. How was the transition from Bill and Hillary to George W. and Laura and the kind of relationship Hillary Clinton has with any of these ladies?
She studies history a lot. She knows a lot about, the first ladies who came before her. She's actually privately defended some of them. I mean, Hillary Clinton defended Nancy Reagan to her staff Nancy Reagan got into a lot of trouble for spending so much money in the White House and buying a full set of china. And Hillary said, well, thank God she did, because we wouldn't have a full set of china to serve at a state dinner if it weren't for Nancy Reagan. So there is a sense of camaraderie there, but Michelle and Hillary don't have a particularly close relationship. You know, Michelle Obama, former senior Obama staffers told me that Michelle Obama doesn't particularly respect the Clintons. There's a sense that the Clintons are about money and power, and the Obamas are about policies.
Wait a second. The Clintons about money and power. Where did you get that?
Well, yeah, when they were kicking around the idea of having Hillary be Obama's vice presidential running mate, Hillary said, you really want Bill Clinton and you want them around 24/7? Because I don't want them around.
Michelle said that.
Yeah, Michelle said that about them.
Right.
So one thing that I've noticed with Michelle Obama, she did an interview one time, and she said, my dream, if I could, I would want to run out that door and go get some ice cream without having Secret Service around me, without needing protection. Do all of them feel like they're in the D.C. bubble, and do they all look forward to the day when they get to leave?
Some of them feel that way. I mean, you know, Mamie Eisenhower couldn't stand the thought of leaving. So she and obviously Hillary Clinton can't wait to get back in. But Michelle Obama hates it there. I mean, she really can't wait. I mean, I have senior staff on the record saying she can't wait to leave, and she said it herself. You know, she's counting down the days. And I actually talked to their head butler who just retired last year, and he said that it's so hard for the Obamas because even if they want to eat outside on the Truman balcony. They have to sit behind these. They have to be positioned behind the two giant columns for security reasons. Sometimes, if there are too many people crowded at the south gate, the South Lawn gate, the staff will say, you probably shouldn't eat dinner outside tonight. I mean, just living in that bubble and these kind of the incidents with fence jumpers and someone shooting into, the windows on the second floor of the White House, that's infuriating to Michelle Obama because she has two young daughters, and you kind of understand how she just can't wait to get out. And she's talked about, just rolling down the window of her car. That's all she wants to do to get some fresh air. And so I think there's a sense of, you can sympathize with that, what she's going through. But of course, they've all asked for this life. So you can only sympathize to a certain extent.
I can't wait to read your book.
Yeah, she is Kate Anderson Brower. Covered the White House for Bloomberg News and Business Week. She's a best-selling author. Her previous work, The Residents Inside the Private World of the White House. Her current book, First Women, The Grace and Power of America's First Ladies, and she covers from Jackie Kennedy to Michelle Obama. Kate Anderson Brower, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with the book.
Thank you, Dan and Abby. Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan's perfect girlfriend. Dan Proft's perfect girlfriend. That story coming up next. But first, here's your forecast. Areas of morning fog. Otherwise, by this afternoon, it's going to be breezy, cooler with some clouds breaking for some sun, a high of 53 degrees. Then the warmth returns for the weekend. Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 63. And on Sunday, get out your swimsuits, everybody. It's going to be mostly cloudy. Some sunshine, warmer, a high near 80 degrees. Anything joyous on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, and Amy, if you want to head for the beach this weekend, keep in mind you'll have a closure of Columbus downtown along with Balboa for NFL draft setup. Now, Columbus is closed right now. It's going to reopen in about 10 minutes until 8 tonight. Then it will be shut down in that area until after the draft and the ensuing cleanup. The Edens is great. 19 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, but outbound there are delays from Montrose to Oakton. About an 8-minute delay there. Kennedy, just 27 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 42. The Ike, 42 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop. Outbound 42 as well. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 3:55 for Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Your favorite restaurant, a smashing Broadway play, the most talented doctor. There are many things in life that'll make you go the extra distance. So why not take extra time when it comes to your dental health? That's why Artistic Dentistry in Homer Glen should be your first and only call at 708-301-6060. Artistic Dentistry is Destination Dentistry. Dr. Akrush and his team see patients from as far as the northern suburbs to northwest Indiana. And they're so confident you'll receive the smile you want, they'll pay for your gas. That's right. All new patients receive a $25 gas card and a free Zoom take-home whitening kit during their first visit. With a 5-star rating from more than 300 online reviewers, you'll see why Artistic Dentistry can be Destination Dentistry for you and your family. Schedule now at 708-301-6060 or online at artisticdentistry-pc.com. Must mention this ad for gas card while supplies last.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, love Herbie Hancock.
Oh, yeah, get it. Come on, get your groove on, Dan.
Still alive. Finally, my investment has paid off. My dream is coming to fruition. Too bad Mary Shelley isn't still around to author a book on the topic. The first interactive robot girlfriend in China.
Oh, my God. What's her name, Dan?
Gia.
Gia.
Or you could call her Mrs. Proft.
Oh.
Takes her orders directly from the iCloud. China has unveiled its first interactive robot, which can chat away to humans and even take orders from the iCloud. Took 3 years to build under my painstaking supervision.
Mm-hmm. And she's not bad looking, I have to say. She looks human-like. She's got long, dark hair, very well dressed.
No, you're looking.
Nice skin.
You're looking at the dude. You're looking at the researcher.
I'm looking at her.
Okay.
It's very lifelike. But the problem is, so they ask her a question, they have a command, and she answers. So let me give you a little example.
Mm-hmm.
And that means, so you say hello, and she replied, "Yes, my lord, what can I do for you?"
Thank goodness you speak Chinese, and
that's in Mandarin, too, so I got you.
You've got the right dialect as well.
But she's a little subservient for me. I don't like that. "Yes, my lord, what can I do for you?"
Just as I wrote it. It's just so beautiful. I'm getting a little emotional. I'm sorry.
And then someone in the media during, the rolling out of this female robot held a camera close to her face, and she said, "The photo taken from that angle makes my face look bigger." So she really knows what she's talking about.
She's a little self-conscious, and I think that's cute.
She's
darling.
A little naive, a little vulnerable.
Well,
just the way you like it, Dan.
I'll let you know when Gia arrives to my well-appointed condo over the weekend how we're doing. We'll keep everybody apprised of our relationship moving forward.
If it goes well, can you bring her to work maybe? See how that goes? Or do you think she and I would get in a cat fight?
I'll see what she would like to do in service to her lord.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
The critics of income inequality say they are for social justice. But what does that mean? It means that if you're really productive, if you work hard, create lots of wealth, and make a lot of money, you're doing something bad. You're creating inequality. So what's fair? Well, what's fair is that government take a bunch of your money and give it to other people. Why do they deserve it? Because they didn't create much wealth. That's what it comes down to. Social justice says to punish people who've done nothing wrong for the sake of other people who have not been wronged. On the other hand, justice says to punish people for the wrong they've done to others. To learn more, visit ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
With warmer temperatures just around the corner, you can't wait to kiss the snow and cold weather goodbye. But Old Man Winter is still lingering around in your carpet and area rugs. Yuck. Months of foot traffic over the winter season brought in water, mud, and salt stains. That's why you need to spring clean with Executive Green Carpet Cleaning. This month, you'll save 40% on any 3-room purchase. That's right, save 40% when you reserve today. And you'll also receive a free bottle of Eco Green Spot Treatment while supplies last. Call 708-599-5151 or visit executivegreencarpetcleaning.com. They'll use their own purified water and a natural cleaning solution that leaves no residue. A much safer alternative for your family and pets. And unlike the big box cleaners, Executive Green promises you'll be 100% satisfied with your results or your service is free. Schedule now. 708-599-5151 or executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick IAQ test from my buddy Bill.
Wait, I didn't study.
IAQ stands for Indoor Air Quality, something 1 Hour excels at.
Well, I aced my SATs, so...
Yes or no? Do you breathe inside your home?
Yeah.
And what do you breathe?
Air.
And what's in that air?
Air?
Sorry, we were looking for dust mites, household pollutants, even formaldehyde.
Wait, I need to move.
Or you could call 1 Hour and improve your IAQ.
That sounds smarter.
Let's see how you do with the disclaimer.
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Not bad.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Tweet from Caleb Howe from the American Spectator. American liberals and Donald Trump, that's my parenthetical remark, want you to know every college is wall-to-wall pervert rapists. Well, except the genderless bathrooms, you bigoted jerk, at 8:08.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good Friday morning to one Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Mayor Emanuel announces some changes to the Chicago Police Department. A massive fire destroys a huge furniture warehouse in Woodridge. Chicago alderman is attacked outside his office, and the Cubs' Jake Arrieta throws a no-hitter, and the Blackhawks survive. Areas of fog this morning beginning to part. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He was mourned and celebrated all night. Prince fans holding late-night parties from New York City to L.A. and in his home state, Minnesota.
We are celebrating the life of Prince, too. God bless his family.
An autopsy is planned today to determine why the music icon, who had been sick recently, died.
Hundreds of people have left behind balloons and flowers in memory of Prince, most of it in his signature color purple. Yesterday, the skies filled up with dark clouds and there was a downpour of rain as a rainbow emerged directly over Prince's property, causing people to stop in their tracks. The photo gained a lot of attention on social media.
Fox's Matt Finn in Minnesota. It's Earth Day at the UN.
We are in a race against time.
Leader Ban Ki-moon before a climate change agreement signing ceremony. More than 150 nations will link the deal worked out in Paris to reduce emissions. President Obama is having lunch with the Queen. He'll have dinner with the princes in between, though. He'll be mixed up in sensitive British politics. Fox's Simon Owen, live in London.
But Dave, the hot topic in British politics right now is whether the UK should quit the European Union. There's a referendum in 2 months' time. President Obama is using his visit to London to urge Britons to vote to stay. Writing in the Daily Telegraph newspaper, he says he's offering his advice with the candour of a friend, and he's expected to speak further at a news conference later. British Prime Minister David Cameron welcoming the president's intervention. Critics say the president should stay out of it. Dave?
Simon, Donald Trump keeps being, well, Donald Trump, attacking Ted Cruz before 5 primaries next week.
He is some liar. He's a professional liar.
But if Trump becomes the Republican presidential nominee, expect a real different guy. That's what a Trump advisor told Republican Party officials at a private meeting. Cruz keeps saying a vote for Trump is a vote for Hillary Clinton. As Houston recovers from devastating flooding, a county judge wants better warnings to drivers to avoid roads underwater. 8 people died in cars that were submerged. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
And fog and 44 degrees. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Authorities are trying to figure out what caused a massive fire at a furniture warehouse in Woodridge. Blaze began yesterday at the Harlem Furniture Room Place warehouse on International Parkway. At its peak, 100 firefighters were battling the flames, and they continue to mop up this morning. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel proposing changes for the way police-involved shootings and misconduct are investigated, but the mayor yesterday stopped short of a task force recommendation to abolish the agency that handles those investigations. Cook County Commissioner Richard Boykin is proposing that he and fellow county board members take a big pay cut to help find jobs for young people. Under Boykin's ordinance, salaries of each county commissioner and board president Tony Preckwinkle would drop by $10,000 annually. The Illinois Senate has approved a plan to let voters choose a new way to draw legislative districts. Planned by Democratic Senator Kwame Raoul of Chicago would mean the map making would stay within lawmakers' hands based on public hearings. A deadlock eventually would mean a Supreme Court justice would appoint a special master. If the House approves that bill, the question will be on November's ballot. Officials say a high-ranking member of the Chicago Fire Department was drunk when he crashed a city-owned vehicle on Lakeshore Drive. A preliminary investigation determined John McNicholas failed a field sobriety test early after the Wednesday accident. Chicago alderman is recovering after he was attacked outside his West Side office. Walter Burnett was punched in the face near Western and Madison. He suffered a cut, but declined medical treatment. Patrick Kane scored on a backhander early in the second OT. Blackhawks avoid first-round elimination and hang on to beat the Blues 4-3. A no-hitter for Jake Arrieta. Cubs pitching his second no-no in the span of 11 regular season starts. In a Cubs rout of the Reds, 16-0. Angels come back to beat the White Sox 3-2 on Thursday to earn a split of that four-game set. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Turnkey.pro, and from the Fox Business Network this morning, here's Pat O'Neill.
From the Fox Business Network, Wall Street hoping to end the week on the plus side. Stock futures up a bit ahead of the opening. Asia markets were mixed. Japan's Nikkei jumped more than 1%, but Chinese stocks fell as investors took recent signs of economic improvement as a sign authorities will hold off making any moves for now. European markets down a bit, the Dow coming off a 114-point loss. General Electric reporting growth in revenue and core earnings this morning, though profit in its industrial business slid. Caterpillar's profits fell, and the construction equipment maker lowered its full-year outlook. Apple's iPhone estimates have been lowered again, triggered by a weak chip outlook by supplier Qualcomm. Several reports in recent weeks have set off alarms that Apple could be headed for its first ever year-over-year decline in iPhone sales. It reports quarterly earnings next Tuesday. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Pat O'Neill.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge.
Dave Ramsey.
The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Weeknights starting at 7, right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
If medications haven't helped you treat your depression, why haven't you tried TMS therapy offered by Theramind? Now there is a way to successfully treat your depression without the need for meds and their harmful side effects. TMS therapy is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Don't continue to suffer needlessly. Call Theramind. Don't wait. Call Theramind now. 847-562-5868. The single greatest advancement to date in treating depression is TMS. It's an FDA-cleared, non-drug, safe, and effective treatment. TMS has already changed the lives of over 50,000 patients. Why not you? Visit tmsmind.com. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. Call Theramind today, 847-562-5868, or get more info at tmsmind.com. That's Theramind at 847-562-5868, or online at tmsmind.com.
So, Dave, would you say your lawn is army green or hunter green?
I'd say more shamrock green.
Wow, greenest green I've ever seen.
Thanks to new Ironite from Pennington. It's loaded with iron and turned my yellow lawn to green. Fast. It's a green machine.
I'm jealous, but that means more mowing.
No way. Ironite greens without the growth surge other fertilizers cause, so I relax and enjoy the green.
Well, I'm turning green with envy.
Better to turn green with Ironite.
New Ironite from Pennington. Turn your yellow lawn greener than green without extra mowing.
Focus.
You need it to run a business, so don't let legal questions distract you. Use LegalZoom instead. Things like lease agreements and employment laws get complicated, but they're part of running a business. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys in 48 states. You can rely on them for the legal details without paying by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. So focus on growing your business and use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
It's 8:08 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens outbound, we see delays from Montrose to Peterson with a crash in the left lane. 27 minutes, Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound fine at 19. Kennedy with delays from Madison to Jackson. Just 27 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, but outbound 42. The Eisenhower's 42 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 42 as well. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 38. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, lighter than usual. Still a bit slow. Fullerton to North Avenue and Jackson to Roosevelt. Northbound from Soldier Field to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State stop and go 87th to 47th. Ogden to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, but Adams Tollway slow going from before Barrington Road to 53. Veterans Memorial slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Areas of morning fog, otherwise a breezy day today with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Clouds will break for some sun with a high of 53. Then tonight, mainly clear with patchy frost after midnight. A low tonight of 38. Mostly sunny tomorrow, high 63. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 45 at O'Hare, 43 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by RadioPlumbingDeals.com. Have a plumbing problem? Get the best plumbers in Chicagoland and massive discounts at RadioPlumbingDeals.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
What's the one word you would use to describe Hillary Clinton?
Treacherous. So if Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses.
That is correct.
And Donald on television this morning said, gosh, he thought that men should be able to go into the girls' bathroom if they want to. Now, let me ask you, have we gone stark raving nuts?
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So how about this? Big, bad, politically incorrect Donald Trump turns out to be another politically correct dilettante. How about that? The guy that's going to take the fight against all the elites that ridicule your cultural values and hurt you economically. We'll focus on the former. Turns out to be joining in the party, pal.
Yeah, anybody surprised by his move to the middle on social issues? 312-642-5600.
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, why would Trump say what he said on Today's Show yesterday unless it was to comply with the cultural zeitgeist from the center left with an eye towards the primary? And by the way, is he moving left a little too quickly with still a number of states outstanding, including most notably Indiana, the Cruz firewall? Here's Trump on the Today Show, asked about the North Carolina bathroom law that says men can't go to the same bathroom as little girls.
Mr. Trump, please be specific. Tell us your views on LGBT, how you plan to be inclusive as president. Speak about North Carolina bathroom law in particular.
Oh, I had a feeling that question was going to come up, I will tell you. Well, look, North Carolina did something that was very strong, and they're paying a big price, and there's a lot of problems. And I heard one of the best answers I heard was from a commentator yesterday saying, Leave it the way it is right now. There have been very few problems. Leave it the way it is. North Carolina, what they're going through with all of the business that's leaving and all of the strife, and that's on both sides. You leave it the way it is. There have been
Yeah, see, the problem with leaving it the way it is it is not those people who believe that men and women are different and should use separate facilities in a public multi-occupancy setting that are advancing the change. It's the politically correct left. It's those that would want to deconstruct Western civilization that are advancing it, Donald. So you can't ignore when somebody's advancing on you, right, Mr. I'm always on offense? Isn't that the case? And he was asked the specific Caitlyn Jenner hypothetical by Matt Lauer and said this.
So if Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses?
That is correct.
Wow. Didn't see that coming. I really didn't. I know that they said that he's going to have a more refined campaign. He hired a speechwriter. He's getting a teleprompter. He's going to have this big foreign policy speech April 27th. But I did not expect those words to come out of Donald Trump's mouth.
On the same topic, Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, said a change in the law in North Carolina is necessary to play in the kind of environment the NBA thinks is appropriate for a celebratory event like the All-Star Game. Silver, the law as it now stands is problematic for the league. There's been no discussion among the owners of moving the All-Star Game. What the view in the room was, we should be working towards change in North Carolina. So I got a question for you, and this is particular for the NBA, and maybe it's particular for people who think if you redefine marriage, it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect me, and now are coming to the realization, oh, well, gosh, now my little girl has to go to the bathroom with men. Maybe it does ultimately redound to me when you start redefining things to tolerate attacks on culture from the deconstructionist left. And by the way, interesting, a text from our 701 of our biggest Trump supporters who text us routinely, 708, he's off Trump because of this.
Really?
I
Because
think,
of the bathroom
yeah,
issue?
I got a tweet yesterday from another Trump supporter. I'm off Trump because of this. Now it's been exposed, so it seems like some scales are falling from some eyes. I don't know how many, but it's interesting to note. And so my question, though, about the bathrooms and just this topic more generally, we have to get to people, I think, where they live, and most people don't follow the vagaries of politics on a day-to-day basis, but they certainly enjoy the bread and circuses, arts and culture and sport. Adam Silver, ESPN, Kurt Schilling being fired over saying that, men's bathrooms were created for men and women's bathrooms were created for women. So the question is, when will ESPN and all of those people who think I can blithely ignore what's going on around me and it'll never impact me, when will we call for the elimination of separate sports at the collegiate and professional level? There is no women's basketball. There is no men's basketball. There's just basketball. There is
that transgender student at Fremd High School, he's on the girls' gymnastics team, not the men's gymnastics team.
That's the problem. There's one gymnastics team. Although there in Brown v. Board of Education overruled, found unconstitutional this concept of separate but equal. There can be no separate but equal. So for all of you that were bigots until 5 minutes ago, till you discover you're going to throw in with the deconstructionist left and say grown men can go to the bathroom with little girls, and now you're enlightened because you're standing against whatever you think is discrimination. Well, what about discrimination in sports? I want the WNBA players to try and make it in the NBA. Everybody should play together. Women and men, cats and dogs. First of all, it doesn't matter because there is no such thing as women and men. So why do we have separate sports? Tennis, golf, football, baseball, hockey, soccer, basketball, one sport. And you know how many women are going to be participating in the NBA? It's a round number.
0.0. The number of delegates Ted Cruz received from New York. Double goose eggs.
I hate to break it to folks. I know a little bit about this. There are all-star. There's if you're maybe not even, but certainly if you're a all-state basketball player, you're a better male basketball player at the high school level. You're a better basketball player than anybody in the WNBA. So if you think that anybody in the WNBA is going to be playing professional basketball, hey, but so what? It's about equality.
So you think that's coming our way?
And no, I think it should.
Oh,
you have to hit people where they live, and they want to just follow the Bulls or the Blackhawks. Well, you follow the Bulls or the Blackhawks when nobody can compete. It's one sport. And then we have come to sport. Well, we've had come to the rest of the society, which is imposed quota. They can't compete on the merits. They can't run the 40 as fast. They're not as quick off the dribble. So we're going to say 50% of the NBA has to be women. See if you still want to watch the NBA. Still, if you still want to be a season ticket holder for the Bulls. Let's do it. I want to go all the way and hit people where they live. All the people blithely going along saying destroying Western civilization has no impact on me as long as somebody bumps my pay 5% next year. Travis in Highland Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I wanted to talk about Trump's interview yesterday. I think it's pretty. Let me just first say, I think it's pretty sad that the quote unquote conservative media is doing a worse job of vetting this candidate than sources that I would never usually turn to, like the Today Show. But my wife brought up a good point as far as the general election goes. You know, it's obviously, I think we're going against Hillary, who's a weak candidate with a lot of baggage, very unlikable ratings, and not very trustworthy. So my idea was the only way she could win is if she goes up against a candidate that's less trustworthy and less likable, or she goes up against a divided opposition. And my wife said, well, if the goal was to get Hillary Clinton elected the whole time, you know, what would Trump be doing any different right now? And I said, I don't know. I don't think he would be doing anything any different. So I just wanted to let you guys chew on that and see what you thought.
Thanks for the call, Travis.
Well, Trump's his ideas and his policies have changed so much. I've always said that I thought he was a Democratic plant. I've always said that because he and Hillary and the Clintons, they're very good friends.
He's not a Democratic plant. He's a demagogue, and that's what you get from a demagogue. He will do whatever's expedient in the moment. He has no foundational philosophy, and so there are no foundational values that flow from that philosophy, and so policy choices come and go, and they can be in conflict with one another over the course of a span of a 5-minute interview.
And yesterday he changed his stance on abortion, saying it is okay to get an abortion in cases of rape, incest, or the mother's life is in jeopardy.
Well, I don't know what his position on his abortion, because he's had every one, but what he said is he would move to change the Republican Party's platform to include those exceptions, which is an intellectually inconsistent position, which is emblematic of Donald Trump. So I guess it would make sense for Trump's platform, but not for the party's platform. But this is what happens, and this is something that Cruz supporters and others who are not Trump supporters have tried to suggest to people, that the president becomes the face, the titular head of the party. And with Donald Trump, you can expect that to be consolidated around the cult of personality like it has perhaps never been. Mitch in Tinley Park.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. How's it going?
Good.
I was listening to Joe Walsh the other day, and he had some callers calling in explain, why they would be okay with their daughter or son, sharing a public shower at school with a member of their physically same sex if they felt, or I should say physically opposite sex, but, psychologically the same. And their argument was, well, if a trans woman comes into the boys' bathroom, they're not going to be, attracted to the boys. But the issue with that is homosexuality and gender identity are two completely different psychological components. Even Caitlyn Jenner said that, he's still attracted to women. So I think that, the argument that most parents of, children in public schools, to legitimize more open bathrooms, it just doesn't make any sense.
Thanks for the call, Mitch.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Areas of fog this morning. Otherwise, it's going to be breezy, cooler, clouds breaking for a little bit of sun, a high of 53 degrees. Then over the weekend, it's going to warm up around here. Saturday looks terrific, mostly sunny, a high of 63 degrees. And on Sunday for your Ravenswood 5K run, it's going to be cloudy, but warmer, a high near 80 degrees. Travel times, how's that inbound Kennedy doing, Jim Telemonte?
Well, Amy, I think you're going to like this. There are delays from Sacramento to Jackson, but it's a lot lighter than normal. 31 minutes is the travel time, O'Hare to downtown. 21 minutes from Montrose, 15 in the Express. Outbound, it's a little heavier. 18 minutes to Montrose, 42 to the airport. The Edens is fine inbound, but outbound we see delays Montrose to Peterson with a crash in the left lane, and it's slow from Gulf to Lake Avenue. People leaving the city. 34 minutes, Montrose to Lake Cook. The Eisenhower, 38 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 48. Stevenson, 36 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36 as well. The Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound it's clear. It's heavy on the tollways, northbound Tri-State, stop and go LaGrange Road to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway most of the way to Irving Park. Adams Tollway jammed from before Barrington Road to 53, the Veterans Memorial Slope, Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, and Lake Street to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, the security officers at your business are an extension of your business. Because they are, you got to have the best. Often the first person your customer meets is your security officer, so they need to be professional, friendly, and courteous. Hey, if you're having issues with your security provider, don't tolerate it. Man, call Guardian Security Services. They're friends of mine. They're at the top of their game, setting the bar for customer service for the past 41 years in Chicago. Easy to reach if you have questions. They pride themselves on a client retention ratio greater than 95% and the best training and vetting practices in the industry. Hey, if you're unhappy with your on-site security officer or doorman, hey, call Guardian Security Services. Get a free consultation and tell them Joe Walsh sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. That's 708-385-3300 or online at guardiansecurityinc.com.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
It's a very good product, even if I open the capsules. It tastes very good.
I like it. That's why I'm reordering it. Matter of fact, I think I may give it to my son. You can't point to anything except you suddenly realize you're not dizzy anymore, you don't have a headache anymore, you're sleeping pretty good. It's not a case of where this hurts and now it doesn't hurt anymore. It's difficult for people to realize it's helping them because they're feeling like they should feel.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we live in a time where you're forced to define yourself by your naughty parts and your orientation, because what the left wants to do in deconstructing civilization is create all kinds of protected classes and make everything morally equivalent. Whatever's in my head, that's my truth that I'm living, and everything's equivalent.
And it's how you feel, too.
Correct.
And if you feel like you're a man someday, you can go into the men's washroom.
Do you watch Portlandia, by any chance?
You know what? I don't.
Fred Armisen, Carrie Brownstein, the sketch comedy show, it's hysterical. And I know there are persons of the left, but whether it's intentional or unintentional, they do a great job parroting the left. And to the points that we were just discussing, they've got a good rap on that.
For National Coming Out Day, we want people to know that coming out is for everyone.
There are lots of options for coming out, and we're here to help you find a sexuality that works for you.
Hi, Tom here, and I'm heteroplausible. I'm not straight, but just to appease my parents, I tell them I could be. Who knows?
I'm married. I can't wait to break up with the guy I'm dating and start dating women. I'm a homosexual. Next up, that.
Homosexual.
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm homological. Do the math. I should be gay, but I'm not. I have too much belly fat.
I'm Charlotte. I'm a homo-spectacle. I'll totally kiss another woman to get the attention of men. I've met a lot of boyfriends this way.
Hello, I'm Neil. I'm heterospeculative. I'm into guys, but, those ladies.
Hi, I'm Connie, and I want to let everyone know that I'm a hobosexual. I am really, really into hobos. Call me. Probably don't have a phone, so I'm going to come find you.
Hi, I'm Rick. I'm homotextual. A couple of same-sex flirty text messages and pics never hurt anybody.
I love hobosexual.
Yeah.
Really into hobos.
I love hobos. I'm going to be one for Halloween.
So there are more protected classes that are coming. I just want to give you a little preview before life becomes art. Let's go to Joe and Joliet. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Navy. I was thinking when you were talking about sports, they've already had that in professional sports, and I really think it would be widespread if there was any talent available. They had a female goalie, I think, for the Atlanta Flames before they went to Calgary, and that didn't work out. And I'm sure that if the owners had some way to compete with a really good female on the team, they would jump at the chance. But they can't. They can't compete against men in sports.
Thanks for the call, Joe. That's not the point. The point is to ruin sport like you're forcibly ruining the other aspects of our culture because you're going to create this utopia on the planet here by deconstructing anything that exists outside your mind and your feelings. Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Oh, why not? Why shouldn't it happen?
Because it might cost companies and teams money if they have to allow women on their teams and they want to be successful and win. And sorry, if you're not athletically inclined and can compete with the men, you can't be on the team.
Do you think that the other mandates in these areas of race and gender and orientation obsession don't cost companies money?
Yeah, it's costing North Carolina a lot of money, especially if the NBA pulls out of the All-Star game, which they're still deciding.
Ron in Bourbonnais.
Hey, good morning, guys. First of all, I'd like to take issue with Amy on Trump changing his position on abortion. I've been following him ever since he got in. Basically, It's always been the same. I may have a stronger position than him, but he's always said rape and incest are exceptions, and doesn't believe in abortion.
Well, that's changed his position from what it was a few years ago. But yes, that's fair, Ron. The issue is changing the party platform, which he suggested he would be open to doing. That becomes a little bit more problematic.
Well, personally, the party platforms don't mean as much as the individuals' platforms. And that goes to this LBGT situation. I didn't like his comment. He sort of clarified on Hannity last night that he thinks it's less than a state issue, more of a local community issue to make the decision. But again, that goes to the individuals in our culture standing up for what's right, and that's what we haven't been doing.
And you're right about that. Thanks, Ron.
As usual, Amy, you're on the wrong side of everything.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The big DuPage County Home Remodeling Expo, a free home show that's open to the public, is coming to the Odeum Expo Center this weekend only. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or siding, then this is the event for you. At this two-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services. Get new ideas, set up estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Maybe you need a new furnace, state-of-the-art generator, or just a handyman. You'll find everything you need under one roof. Increase the value of your home and bring your friends and family. Special announcement! Attend this free home show and get a free gift at the door. You heard it right, that's a free gift at the door. Remember, the DuPage County Home Remodeling Expo this weekend only at the Odeum Expo Center in Villa Park. Get more information at homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
Text from 708, is the NBA and other sports venues, are they going to get rid of all their separate bathrooms at their stadiums?
Oh.
Good question.
All right. Well, if medication hasn't helped you treat your depression, then why haven't you tried TMS therapy offered by Theramind? Now there's a way to successfully treat your depression without the need for meds and their harmful side effects. TMS therapy is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. So don't continue to suffer needlessly. Call Theramind. Don't wait. Call Theramind now at 847-562-5868. Again, that's 847-562-5868. It is the single greatest advancement to date in treating depression. It's an FDA-cleared, non-drug, safe, and effective treatment. TMS has already helped change the lives of over 50,000 patients, so why not you? Visit them at tmsmind.com. That's tmsmind.com, or call this number, 847-562-5868. Call now. Theramind right now, 847-562-5868. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, fans around the world remembering the life and career of Prince. And then also, Dan, do you want to eat naked? We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we have fog and 47 degrees. Winds out of the north at 9. Investigators are hoping an autopsy will reveal what killed the musical icon Prince. The 57-year-old was found unresponsive yesterday in an elevator at his suburban Minneapolis compound. He was pronounced dead less than an hour later. Prince had canceled concerts in Atlanta 2 weeks ago because he wasn't feeling well. There's more trouble for Rio de Janeiro. Hours after the Olympic flame was lit in Rome and in Greece, a 150-foot section of the bike path in Rio crashed into the water below, killing at least 2. The path will not host any Olympic events, but it does link 2 beaches to the site of Olympic Park. Lunch today with the Queen. Instead of sending Queen Elizabeth a birthday card, the President delivers his own card in person today with greetings over lunch at Windsor Castle. Donald Trump thinks his remaining Republican rivals should drop out.
I've won 22 or 23, millions of votes ahead. I think they both should get out. What are they doing?
Speaking in Pennsylvania, Trump says he's both ahead of Ted Cruz and John Kasich and question what they're doing in the race. Meantime, Bernie Sanders is back out campaigning following his loss in the New York primary. Sanders took one day off and then headed back to Pennsylvania. Uber drivers will remain independent contractors under terms of a settlement of a class action lawsuit. Ride-sharing company will pay up to $100 million to settle the suit brought by California drivers. The lawsuit claimed Uber drivers were employees entitled to reimbursement of expenses. Authorities are still trying to figure out what caused a massive blaze at a furniture warehouse in Woodridge. The world's biggest heavy equipment machinery maker is digging a big earnings hole. Peoria-based Caterpillar reports first quarter profit of $494 million, less than one-third of last year's quarterly earnings. A temporary funding fix for financially struggling Illinois public colleges and universities is in limbo this morning because lawmakers are delaying a vote on a rare bipartisan measure that would send them $600 million. In fact, Republican House Leader Jim Durkin was telling lawmakers yesterday that Governor Bruce Rauner will sign that bill if it ever gets to him. Patrick Kane scored on a backhander early in the second OT. Blackhawks avoid first-round elimination with a 4-3 win over the Blues early this morning. A no-hitter for Jake Arrieta and the Cubs, also winners over the Reds, 16-0. And the Angels beat the White Sox 3-2 to earn a split of that 4-game set. The news service of TimeshareExitTeam.com. The only thing that's worse than being stuck in traffic is being stuck in a timeshare. Get out now safely and legitimately with Timeshare Exit Team. They'll get you out or give you a full refund. TimeshareExitTeam.com. TimeshareExitTeam.com. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is tired of the double standard with race.
Thanks for the endorsement, Bill.
Sorry, Hillary. I was running on CP time.
Cautious politician time.
That was flat out racist. Hillary Clinton ought to be called out as a racist, and yet there's nothing but silence when liberal Democrats do something that is that offensive.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Here Maps, the app that turns your phone into a car navigation system with offline maps and turn-by-turn guidance. Get it now at here.com/guide.
What's your caliber? Black Rhino Concealment knows many AM 560 listeners carry or plan to and want the best holsters for concealed carry, range practice, or competitive shooting. Black Rhinos are comfortable and safe. Every holster is handcrafted by veterans of 100% virgin Kydex with American-made fasteners. From precision fit and finish to secure retention and quick draw, a Black Rhino is the finest holster at a modest price. Backed by a lifetime material warranty and workmanship guarantee, Black Rhino has tactical carrier and concealed carry systems for every caliber. You and your firearm deserve a Black Rhino. The Second Amendment protects our right to bear arms, and Black Rhino protects those arms. Black Rhino Concealment. We hold your caliber against you. Visit blackrhinoconcealment.com or call 847-783-6499 for showroom info. Use the promo code AM560 for a 10% discount on your first order. That's 847-783-6499.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-1502. That's 1-800-663-1502. 1-800-663-1502.
So, Dave, would you say your lawn is army green or hunter green?
I'd say more shamrock green.
Wow, greenest green I've ever seen.
Thanks to new Ironite from Pennington. It's loaded with iron and turned my yellow lawn to green. Fast. It's a green machine.
I'm jealous, but that means more mowing.
No way. Ironite greens without the growth surge other fertilizers cause, so I relax and enjoy the green.
Well, I'm turning green with envy.
Better to turn green with Ironite.
New Ironite from Pennington. Turn your yellow lawn greener than green without extra mowing.
8:38 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're seeing some delays on the CTA orange and green lines after a mechanical problem on a train near Roosevelt. The Edens Expressway inbound is fine at 19 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, it's 23 minutes after a crash at Peterson. Kennedy, 31 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, 43. The Eisenhower's 38 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound, 48. Really slow Laramie to Manheim. Mount Stevenson, just 36 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, 36 as well. Bryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive southbound, slow Belmont to North Avenue and Jackson to Roosevelt. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Eastbound Adams Tollway, slow Roselle to 53 and Lee to Manheim. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Fog beginning to part this morning. Breezy and cooler throughout the morning. Clouds will break for a little sunshine this afternoon, a high near 53. 45 at O'Hare, 43 along the lakefront. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MJ Miller & Company Jewelers. Make Mother's Day extra special this year with a gift from MJ Miller in downtown Barrington.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Go ahead, Amy, let it out. Sing it. Like when you used to pretend you were on the back of his motorcycle.
I never meant to cause you any sorrow. Could I have a tissue? Come on, Dan, join me.
No.
I never meant to cause you any pain.
Oh, nice affected Prince impersonation there.
Well,
yeah.
I loved him. He was my everything. I mean, I feel like I grew
He
up
was
with
my everything.
He was.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, when he died, I heard the news yesterday. I had to pull over. I was driving my car, and I just cried because I had his posters up in my bedroom. I went to see the movie Purple Rain on a continuous loop for about 20 times at the Randhurst Mall at the theater there.
And then you had a vigil outside your place in Lakeview where you released doves last night.
Well, because the doves were crying.
Of course they were.
No, but he was he really was just the most talented singer. I remember seeing him on Solid Gold back in, I think it was 1980 or maybe 1979. You were a mere child, probably still in diapers. And I was rocking out.
Until recently, actually.
I attracted my attention because he could combine rock and soul and funk, and he just had this sexuality about him that was so just mesmerizing.
And
so
confusing.
And then in the 80s.
Remember his symbol when he turned himself into a symbol?
Yeah, that was just an artistic way of expressing himself because the company
course.
had he wanted to separate from the company
No,
who
I
owned the
know.
rights to his record
Look,
and all that.
And we all go through that phase where we're a symbol.
But he did
I
wear
got it. But
women's nylon sometimes and a garter belt.
We all
and
go through that phase where we wear women's nylons and a garter belt.
He had a feminine side, but I was okay with that. I still was so attracted to him.
Wasn't his symbol androgynous? Wasn't it male, female combined?
Yeah, it was a combined But he died, in his elevator in his home outside of Minneapolis, and the person who called 911 didn't know the address of the house, so that kind of delayed getting help to the scene. But
I assume everybody knows where Paisley Park is, law enforcement.
Yeah, when they say, well, now they do, because the person on the line said, I don't know, ask somebody there. Everybody knows where Prince's house is, because there was a recording studio attached, but, there's rumors going around this morning what caused his death. He did have the flu. He performed in Atlanta on Friday, then on the way back to Minneapolis, they made that emergency landing in Moline, Illinois, where he spent the night overnight being cared for flu-like symptoms. And then the next day when he was released, he had 42 people over at his house for a house party, and he told them, there's no need to start praying for me. But you had mentioned earlier that he had epilepsy.
Well, Scott
Possibly.
Stantis, friend of mine, he's the political cartoonist for the Tribune. We were talking about this at a dinner we were at last night, and he's very involved in epilepsy prevention and awareness because his brother actually died from an epileptic seizure. And he said that Prince was epileptic, and it's interesting. I didn't know that, and I didn't see that included in any of the news accounts.
neither.
And I'm not suggesting that that's what occurred, but it was interesting to know that he had that condition. It was not known to me. So I don't know. I don't want to engage in the conspiracy mongering that always is associated with celebrity deaths when it's not obvious what happened.
But what I loved about him, self-taught musician. And he played all the instruments on his first 5 albums, which is impressive. And he won a Golden Globe. He won an Oscar. And he won 7 Grammys and 6 for the movie Purple Rain, which I'm sure you've seen the movie Purple Rain, right,
I've
Dan?
seen it, yeah.
But your favorite thing, Dan, are politicians weighing in on his passing. President Obama, before he's having breakfast with the Queen, released a statement saying that the world has lost a creative icon.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go. Somebody who's trying to be very relevant. One Hillary Rodham Clinton.
I was so stunned. You think of him as being almost eternal. I mean, he was a bigger-than-life personality. He was not only a songwriter and a singer, but literally a one-man band. He was such a great showman. I just was so sad. And I just want everybody to, spend some time reflecting on this American original.
Move this man!
And somebody that was reflecting.
Why must they do that?
Oh, no, it gets better. Somebody that was reflecting on their friend was Van Jones.
Oh, no.
And tell everybody who Van Jones is, Dan.
Van Jones is this kind of militant left Obama suck toy who Obama wanted to make his green czar, but couldn't pass the muster to get through the nomination process. So it was abandoned because he's such an unhinged, goofy leftist. And for some reason, not surprisingly, because of all the boneheads that are on these cable news channels as contributors, don't know what the hell they're talking about. Van Jones is a CNN, and he's also on ABC, too, I think.
Yeah, but Van Jones had a special relationship with Prince, he says.
Oh, did he?
When he was kicked out of the White House, he went to see Prince because Prince invited him over, and Prince gave him a white sheet of paper and said, write down what you want to accomplish.
Why does the paper have to be white?
All right, maybe a purple piece of paper, but he said, write down what you want to accomplish in life. Take 2 weeks and then come back to me, and I'll help you accomplish your goals. And Van Jones just couldn't get it together. He was just crying hysterically.
As a friend and a loved one, what are you guys dealing with today?
Just guilt. Feeling like, what could we have done? What happened? And just feeling like now people will start talking and you'll start hearing. He was such a private person. The people in the inner circle, and everybody got on TV and said anything. In fact, if you got on TV bragging about Prince, you ain't gonna know Prince tomorrow because he doesn't like that. So now you're gonna hear all these people come out. Oh, he mentored me. He helped me. Like I said, he was there for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think, speaking of CNN, I think Wolf Blitzer captured everybody's sentiment well when he recounted Prince's work as the artist who gave us Purple Haze.
Did he really say that?
Purple Haze.
Oh, my gosh. Well, grown women, even this grandma, is crying over his passing.
I just can't believe it's true. I just can't believe it. I just can't believe he's gone.
Inconsolable.
Yeah.
She rushed to be at his house yesterday.
You know what you could do, Amy, since
What?
you're
Addicted to him?
yeah, you're just like a little less emotional than Van Jones. Steve on 88 on his Twitter account.
Yeah.
He has shaded his headshot in purple. You could do that in solidarity for all
Really?
with all the Prince fans around the world.
I'm wearing purple today because I did get to meet him once in 2007 at the Super Bowl. He had to do his press conference the Tuesday before, and they had warned us that he's not going to take questions from reporters, but per his contract, he has to meet with reporters. So Prince got up there. I got there early so I could sit in the front row, and of course I was wearing purple. And Prince said, "Does anybody have a question?" And I stood up and I raised my hand, and he pointed at me, and I started asking a question. Then he started jamming a song out because he wasn't going to take any questions because he's very private and he didn't want to get into anything political or personal. So he just played his music, but he did wink at me, and then he did reach out his hand and I touched it. And I know that.
It's funny. The same thing happened to me when I was driving in my little red Corvette, and he sang Raspberry Beret to me, and that has been my personal anthem ever since.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up, do you want to eat at a restaurant sans clothing? Oh, yes, a naked restaurant coming your way soon. But first, here's your forecast. We're going to have mostly cloudy skies today, cooler, breezy, a high of 53 degrees. Then the weekend looks spectacular for the 5K Wrigleyville run, which our very own Dan Nelson is going to be running in. It's going to be nice, 63 degrees for a high. And then on Sunday for the Ravenswood run, it's going to be even warmer, mostly cloudy, a high of 78 degrees. No complaints there. Any complaints on the roadway? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, not on the inbound Edens. Clear sailing, 19 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 23, but it's improving. There was a crash at Peterson. Kennedy inbound, delays start at Sacramento. 31 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 43. The Eisenhower, 37 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 40. Stevenson, just 36 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 with the delays from Damon to Kedzie. Bryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. The report of a car fire inbound I-57 at 127th. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial slow Maple to the Reagan Tollway, and the Indiana Toll Road has construction delays in both directions in Porter and LaPorte counties. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
I do like taking Balance of Nature. I feel very good about that product. I think the integrity of producing the product is good, and I feel if I just had Balance of Nature, I'd be happy.
This is the first year of my life I've never gotten sick. I didn't even get a cold sore. I usually get 2 or 3 a year, and I love your product. You guys do a great job, and thank you very much, Doc.
You know what I just feel is if out of everything out there, it just makes the most sense.
Since I've been taking that, no heartburn, because usually after I eat supper, hour after I eat supper, I'd get heartburn. I don't get heartburn no more. But I'll tell you right now, that's some product.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
With warmer temperatures just around the corner, you can't wait to kiss the snow and cold weather goodbye. But Old Man Winter is still lingering around in your carpet and area rugs. Yuck. Months of foot traffic over the winter season brought in water, mud, and salt stains. That's why you need to spring clean with Executive Green Carpet Cleaning. This month, you'll save 40% on any 3-room purchase. That's right, save 40% when you reserve today. And you'll also receive a free bottle of Eco Green Spot Treatment while supplies last. Call 708-599-5151 or visit executivegreencarpetcleaning.com. They'll use their own purified water and a natural cleaning solution that leaves no residue. A much safer alternative for your family and pets. And unlike the big box cleaners, Executive Green promises you'll be 100% satisfied with your results or your service is free. Schedule now. 708-599-5151 or executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, remembering Prince today. Amy's dressed in purple. I am wearing gold lame stretch pants with a petticoat to honor Prince.
Stop it.
And we need to take these clothes off, Amy, if we want to go to London and eat at the new Naked Restaurant. We also need to sign up fast. The Naked Restaurant in London. Waiting list already at 5,000 people.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, who wants to eat naked? 312-642-5600. I can't believe it. This is a new phenomenon, but apparently.
It's probably to distract you from the food because, British food is so awful.
Well, it's a way to spice up the food, maybe.
I know.
Mm-hmm. It's called a bunyadi. It's a Hindu term for natural, and they're going to have a naked and a non-naked section, along with the changing room.
2 for the naked section, please.
Bitter party of one. Your table is ready.
Right.
Bitter party of one. I mean, can you imagine going there by yourself? Maybe you'll go home with some friends.
Seen a grown man naked?
Well, you will at this restaurant. The website promises that you will enter a secret Pangea-like world, free from phones, electric lights, and even clothing, and revisit the beginning where everything was fresh, free, and unadulterated from the trappings of modern life. I assume this is going to be very much like the nude beach, where the people who go to this restaurant, sans clothes, are going to be the people that should not be naked, and that you will not be able to remove that image that will be emblazoned on your amygdala for the rest of your days.
You can walk outside butt naked.
Have you ever been to a naked beach?
I have not, no.
Have you ever been to a naked fest? I had to cover a naked fest once.
Yes. I don't go to naked beaches, but I have spent years at a naked commune. No,
yeah,
of course
I know.
not.
I had to go there once.
You had to go where?
To a naked commune.
And you went
for work.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice cover story.
No, I swear it was called Nude Stock. That's what it was called. It was in Eastern Michigan, and my boss sent me, and I showed up, and the live truck I was using was wood TV. It was so bad. But I was there for a while, and it was, just exactly what you expected. People that are naked that you don't want to see naked.
And what was the story about you eating food off a naked person?
Oh, yeah. So I'm friends with Eric, from Eric and Kathy, and they invited me over to their show in the morning. They wouldn't tell me what it was, but they said, come over. We want to do a little, radio bit with you. And so I brought my kids. They were 3 and 2 at the time. And we were eating.
This is not going to end well.
We were eating sushi off of a naked woman. And it was my older son's like, Mom, this sushi's great. And he kept going. And then Eric got them out of the room because it wasn't appropriate.
Right.
Thanks,
then
Eric. Spoiler.
Eric had to tell you, that's not the sushi.
I don't know what this world is coming to. You see that man over there? We arrested him for mopery. What's mopery? Mopery is exposing yourself to a blind person.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Your favorite restaurant, a smashing Broadway play, the most talented doctor. There are many things in life that'll make you go the extra distance. So why not take extra time when it comes to your dental health? That's why Artistic Dentistry in Homer Glen should be your first and only call at 708-301-6060. Artistic Dentistry is Destination Dentistry. Dr. Akrush and his team see patients from as far as the northern suburbs to northwest Indiana. And they're so confident you'll receive the smile you want, they'll pay for your gas. That's right. All new patients receive a $25 gas card and a free Zoom take-home whitening kit during their first visit. With a 5-star rating from more than 300 online reviewers, you'll see why Artistic Dentistry can be Destination Dentistry for you and your family. Schedule now at 708-301-6060 or online at artisticdentistry-pc.com. Must mention this ad for gas card while supplies last.
Well, you've heard me talk about Schrank's Smoke and Gun, and here's another reason to visit this place. A raffle to help support our veterans. Each raffle ticket Each raffle ticket has a 1 in 250 chance to win a Smith & Wesson 1911 engraved pistol and display case worth over $1,000. So just stop by Schrank's on or before May 7th and enter to win. 100% of the proceeds will benefit Midwest Veterans Closet, It's a local 501c3 that provides free food, housing, and clothing, and much more to local veterans. Plus, Schranks is also going to donate an additional 5% of all in-store sales on Saturday, May 7th, the day of the drawing. So stop by Schranks, enter to win, and choose from Schranks' huge selection of firearms, gunsmith services, cigars, pipes, tobacco. Visit smokethelettern.gun.org or call 847-662-4034.
Naked power grab.
You know the name Barbara Walters. Now remember the company, Ameritrust Mortgage.
Ameritrust Mortgage was formed along with a talented professional staff that makes your mortgage process easy, swift, and cost-efficient for you, the home buyer, and for those who refinance. Ameritrust is all-inclusive, start to finish, the way lending should be. At Ameritrust, we believe it has been our privilege to have helped thousands of people over 30 years with purchasing or refinancing their home. We are here to help. Let us customize a loan program for your specific needs, FHA, VA, or conventional. At Ameritrust, the responsibility belongs to me. It's my name on the door. I am the president. I am Barbara Walters. Call Ameritrust now, 815-459-7303. Again, that number is 815-459-7303, or visit us at am560myhome.com.
Ameritrust Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee number 720, NMLS number 217229. It only took 7 days to create the universe and mankind as we know it. So why does it take months on end to design, create, and complete a home remodeling project? Begin your project with Genesis Construction. Their mission, building relationships based on honesty and integrity and doing what's right for you, which means you will always find the truth in Genesis Construction. From creation to completion, Genesis Construction is able to bring in your kitchen, bathroom, or basement project on time and on budget. They're also equipped and trained to handle your commercial maintenance needs for your facility, office, or church. Genesis Construction is insured and bonded. See for yourself why Genesis Construction has a 5-star rating from Thumbtack.com. Contact Bruce Filipiak at 888-973-9016. That's 888-973-9016. Or visit beginwithgenesis.com. That's beginwithgenesis.com.
I shall end the week with the Amish texter. A naked restaurant. It's probably just going to end up being an Italian sausage fest.
Hey-o. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Our thanks to David Stripling, the technical director, and Cesar Perez, the executive producer.
Shake and bake.
We'll see you back here Monday morning. Have a safe and happy weekend. Here's Mike Scott.
Cubs' Jake Arrieta throws a no-hitter. A cloudy day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time. It's 9.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. His fans still can't believe he's gone.
No one could do a slow song like Prince.
Fans held late-night dance parties.